Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of the Vintage Anime Club podcast, your podcast where we watch a bunch of old anime, see how well they hold up, all while drinking a variation of wine this time. And it is a good variation so far. I am one of the hosts, Dennis. Joining me today is Kate.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Is anyone surprised?
No, there probably are people who are surprised.
Oh, okay.
How you been? What's new anime-wise?
What's new? So I started watching this anime about Rakugo, which is basically a Japanese-style stand-up comedy. It's very traditional, and wow, it is really good. They got some great voice talent, and even though the concept, like Rakugo, is something where someone is sitting, kneeling on the stage, like talking and doing a whole bunch of character impressions for the length of a story, and you would think, oh, maybe that's not going to be interesting to watch as an animation, but it is.
Yeah.
And also it's set in the past and it has a really great jazz soundtrack, and I recommend it. It's super interesting, and I'm not done with it yet.
Was this last season's anime?
Yes, it finished last season, so
Okay.
I guess
we missed this because of Erased.
yeah. Well, we were kind of late to the party on Erased,
Yeah,
too.
everyone was recommending Erased, and we kind of missed the Rock'n'Roll train, but it's really good.
I'm happy that there are streaming services where it's like, oh, hey, I missed the train on this last season. I can still watch it now.
Yeah.
But at least the train didn't get erased.
But
Joining us in person, that is Eve.
Yay!
Yay, in person.
yay, we
first
can actually
time.
drink. All right, toast.
Yay!
Yay! Drinking in person.
Oh, yeah. That's great. Eve, what's new with you?
I have free time now.
Yeah. You brought us a lovely shrine to gawk at.
Yeah, we
while
gotta
talk about
post a picture of this.
Samurai
I
Slayer.
brought my Kenshin husband Aoshi, but it's the Takarazuka version. But that's okay because it's hot too.
Nice. Well, there's nothing else new besides that. And free time.
Oh,
I
watched
just took my
anything new?
paralegal exam, so now that's why I have free time.
Yay!
Into any like catching up on anime or getting into newer ones right now?
Oh no, just keeping up with the current season.
Okay.
They're just the good ones like JoJo, Stray Dogs, Joker Game, Sakamoto, and then the not so good ones like Super Lovers.
Wait, so you're watching it anyway?
I am watching it. Well, Minagawa Junko is in it, and I really miss hearing her voice.
Oh,
She's a Ryoma in Prince Tennis.
oh.
That's a valid reason. Follow the actors and stuff. It's like comic books. Follow the creative teams. Don't follow the character.
Yeah,
That's what you do.
I guess.
And of course, every Fujo needs at least one BL to go with.
I thought Stray Dogs is kind of BL.
Kind of, but that's
It's
the
like it
subtle
has
thing.
BL tendencies.
Yeah, BL tendency, but you need like once in a while you need some straight up
Yeah,
BL.
straight up. Nice. Thanks, Eve. Also joining us is Ed.
Hello.
Our last co-host here for the day. What's new with you, man?
Well, let's see. I'm still watching JoJo and Kisniver.
Yeah, it sounds like it's getting better now.
The last couple episodes have been much, much better. I mean,
That's
it
good.
took a long time for them to set up, and it's finally paying off.
So wait,
Oh, that's
how
good.
many episodes so far?
It started getting good around number 5, and now they're up to 7, I think.
Okay, that's not
Okay.
that bad.
So
Like,
maybe I'll catch up because the
that's-
first two didn't really grab
that's
me.
one or two more than I'm comfortable with before I'm like, yeah, that anime's pretty good.
But usually I make judgments about an anime about episode 3 or so.
Yeah,
but
I'm
this
3 or
one
4.
took longer.
Depending on how long it is.
Yeah, I didn't want to watch ReZero until our friend Henry recommended, Koyasu's in it, and he's very like Hanagata version. So
Well,
he started at
you
episode
said the
4.
magic words.
Yeah, the very magic words. It's like either he's super awesome or super dorky. Well, he does in between two, but those are the two best ones.
Okay.
And I started at episode 4, and he gets naked, so I was like, okay.
Wow.
But if you want to talk
All right,
about
then.
completely missing the train and getting into things late, I put on Love Live for the first time.
Oh.
The other day, 3 years too late.
But have you found a waifu yet?
Oh. Yeah, there's supposed to be one for all types, right?
There's too many to pick from. I think.
He's got to invest more to
I
whittle
would
it
have
down.
them all.
But at least to prepare you, you'll be judged by your peers depending on if you like or dislike Nico.
It's like, don't look
That's
at
the
us.
deal breaker for people's Nico.
It's like, don't look
Wow.
at me, Eve. I have no clue about Love Live. It's like about like.
That's
like,
all I really
feed
know
me
is
the names. Like,
that's all I really know is Nico and Honk.
nice.
All you need to know is there's a professional wrestler who has a move called the Nico Nico knee. It knees you in the face. Yeah,
Well, because he's a Love Live fan. So is his
an
gimmick
anime
like he's otaku, or is he actually
he's
otaku?
An actual otaku,
Uh-huh.
and he has another move called the Third Impact.
Oh,
I forget
Of course,
his name.
of course.
Yeah, wrestling.
Anyway,
wrestling.
getting off track.
In terms of new stuff for me, after watching Green Legend Ron and Fatal Fury the Motion Picture, I decided to go on a splurge and buy the entirety of Ronin Warriors
See,
tees.
none of these things are new.
Nope.
These are all
But
old.
that is new for me because I have wanted to own that and have not until now. Because,
But have you seen it entirely before owning?
Yeah, I've seen it at least 3 times.
On
And
Toonami.
I wanted to, I wanted to
Well,
get
sometimes I miss
I wanted to get the Bandai set because the discotheque version doesn't have the English dub on it. They don't have
Oh.
it there.
Oh.
Yeah, they only got the Japanese subs, which I'm okay with. That's fine, but
white
We
blaze.
basically-
I need the
but
white
we-
blaze. I need the quake with fear.
We
Quake
basically
with
grew
fear?
up with the dub.
Yeah, it's a group.
So I see what I have to look forward to here.
Oh yeah,
And
It's
the
gonna be
name
great.
changes.
on the name changes and the voice actor changes mid-season.
Oh,
Yeah. Like episode 2 is a different voice actor for like 3 of them. Then they revert
What?
back to episode 3.
oh wow.
And like
couldn't
episode
decide.
in the teens, they go back. I don't know. Maybe they got sick that day. I don't know. Whatever.
Wow.
Whatever.
I'm kind of sad they didn't dub the OAV. So
They did, I think.
really,
Yeah. At least it might be
I
a
think
different.
the first one they at least
It might
did.
be a different dub cast, but I know that
Probably.
Discotheque has the rights for the OV. Yeah, the OVAs,
Well,
OVs.
I got the Bandai versions of those.
Yeah, they didn't do those for that one, but there is one for.
I know they
Discotheque.
didn't do it. I know they didn't dub Message
Ah,
because
okay.
that one was weird and kind of long, boring. As much as I love the designs.
Well, when I get the Discotheque one in the future, we'll find that out then. So, something special today. We have another special guest in the room.
Who's that?
Yay.
Who is that? Who is that talking on the microphone?
Who's that voice?
Who is
we have Caitlin, one of our friends from many various conventions and other things.
Yes.
Also a neighbor. Hello.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
she?
So, Caitlin, we have to know because we asked this to everybody in this room, along with the other. We only had one other special guest on the show. So, how did you get into this anime thing? Like, how did it happen?
All right. So, obviously everybody probably has gotten into anime via Toonami and
Yes.
Pokemon
Fair.
on Saturday mornings. Though, really probably what cemented it for me was buying manga actually at Borders.
Oh wow.
Oh.
And
Nice.
in middle school, of course, back in 2000.
I don't know about you, but my middle school was not in 2000 anything. So
Sorry,
90s.
Kate. I can't actually. That may not be accurate. No, it was like 1990. Brr. It's actually more accurate. But back then, back in the days where people were made fun of for liking anime and manga and whatnot, I used to buy manga and then pass it to my friends in paper lunch bags.
oh wow, you were the dealer. You were the dealer.
I was the
Contraband.
manga dealer.
Oh
I
my
would buy Sailor Moon
Contraband.
and No Need for Tenchi and
Oh my God.
Goddess and pass them to my friends. And that is how I got all of my friends hooked on anime. And yeah.
Caitlin, need that fix.
Yes.
Fix. You got that paper
I got,
I got that next volume for you. What you gonna do for me?
I've got stars too. What are you going to do for me?
I will give you my lunch money.
Yeah. Wow.
I remember doing
All
that. at lunch.
$3 of it.
Oh man.
Like behind the gym with like grab bags. Like what you want?
Yep.
Well, first volume is free. The next one will cost you.
At least with manga, it's manga's like $6 to $8, or maybe 6
No,
about
$10.
It was 10 back
per
then.
translated volumes.
Depends on the size.
Yeah.
The somewhat smaller ones were 10, but
Yeah.
the bigger ones were like 15,
Tenchi was
15
between
or so.
12
and
and
15.
16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I invested heavily in my friendships. I'll tell you that much.
Well, $10 is definitely easier to spend than the $30 for 3 episodes.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. That's easier
true.
than DVDs.
Unless you just rented and then
Yeah.
waited for the Suncoast sale.
Yeah.
Get that.
I did find myself in Suncoast a lot back in the
That
day.
double,
Oh, those
triple
days.
point Suncoast sale.
Yep.
Oh man.
No,
Yeah.
like the $1 bin or whatever, $1,
Oh, I
$5
didn't even see
bin.
those.
That's where I got all my Nazca VHS. And where I found the Trunks special.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Well, thank you for your origins. How did
So
you end up
Caitlin,
staying?
the anime dealer, like I'm like,
Caitlin
oh,
became an anime
shit!
dealer, so how
I
did
had
you-
no idea.
How did you end up staying as an anime fan? Did you start moving into the DVDs then? It's like, yo, you gotta get rid
Yeah,
of that paper now.
what was your progression from when you got
just
into
need
anime
it, yo.
up till now?
Well, I guess, with the advent of DVDs and after I got a PS2 and I was able to play DVDs.
Yeah.
Because
Except for disc 3 of Escaflowne.
yeah, whoops.
I had that issue.
All of my anime viewing was limited to television, so whatever was dubbed and put on television, I would watch.
Nice.
But then, when I got a PS2 and I had the ability to play DVDs, I found myself getting into, shows that were only on DVD.
Nice.
I know that was Kenshin on Toonami? I can't remember.
I don't think
No,
not-
it was not.
Because Julia, my sister, got really into Kenshin.
Maybe it was
And
sci-fi.
she started buying DVDs,
Oh.
like the 3-episode per DVD, $30 discs.
Yeah.
And
22 discs.
yeah.
Oh my god!
Unless you
bought
got
all
the
of
nice
them.
box set thing.
No, it's still
No,
22 discs
she
in the
didn't
box
get-
set.
She bought it DVD by DVD by DVD.
Oh no!
That's Diana. That's okay. She
Well, that's how they used to
I'm
sell
sorry,
them.
Julia.
Like,
We're not
you get-
making fun of you.
No, it's just like wow. Back in the good old days, no.
For most
Yeah,
box sets,
yeah.
that's how they get you started. You buy the first DVD and it comes.
Yeah,
in
it
the
comes
box.
with the slip
box, yeah.
case,
And
and
then
then
you
you
get
buy
more
the
to
other
fill it
discs
in.
that
I
fit
don't
in the
know
box.
if Kenshin did do that.
Well,
Like,
there would
Not
have to
the
be a
special
big ass
edition.
box.
Not
I
the
know they
special.
did
They
it
waited
with
till after.
Case Closed, aka Meitante Conan.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
was
that's
my
been on for
personal
even
manga
more
favorite.
episodes.
Oh yeah, they're like at episode. I want to say they're in like episode 400 and something right now.
I feel like they're longer than that.
Yeah, I think it's
Really?
longer
Like
than One
600.
Piece.
Because it
Oh,
came out
shit.
before One Piece, and One Piece is in
Oh, yeah.
700.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think that Conan is the longest
It's
running
in the thousands,
Like,
maybe.
series.
Continuously running?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
continuously. It's been
Really?
running
Oh.
a long time.
Whoa.
Even one of my friends who's the same age, she's a day older than me. We call each other twins, but she's been following it since she was like a little kid.
Wow.
So it's been going on that
There's an
long.
entire town that's basically a tourist attraction for people who like Conan.
Wow.
Great.
So is it mysteries? Like, do you
Yeah.
get involved in
It's like
a
the
mystery
Winchester
if you stay
Mystery
there?
House is a town.
No, well, I'm thinking
Basically,
more about
it's like the Winchester Mystery House, but in manga form.
yeah, like the dinner mystery theater things that you can go to.
Oh, yeah.
Except it's like
They
no,
should do an
it's
escape room.
it's
of
it's
that.
a bed and breakfast. Except no, it's like a bed and murder kind of thing.
Bed and murder.
Bed and murder mystery.
Like murders on trains and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's basically like that. And believe me, there's been probably several cases of murders on trains. Because Japan.
yeah.
Damn it,
Because
Rail Tracer.
because trains.
I just wanted to go into the 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee. I didn't mean to get dragged into your mystery theater production. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep. So, yeah, once I got a PS2, I bought
Nice.
DVDs.
So it just
I watched
Yeah,
more
that
stuff
really
subbed.
opens a gateway. I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. DVD is
Very
definitely
nice.
a gateway for a lot of things.
Was there ever a lapse in anime fandom for you? Like,
I want to say my lapse has probably been more recent. Shockingly enough, like even when I was in college, I was part of the anime club. I watched all of the anime that everybody put on at the anime club. But then when I went to go get my master's degree,
Well, that would do it.
yeah, I didn't have much time for anything aside from my master's
Studying.
degree.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, right. So
Cool,
between
too.
the ages of 25 and 28, I was pretty much out of the game. People would be talking about all of these series, and I'd be like, "What are what?
But see-
Gurren Lagann, what are you talking about?"
No, this is the great way to catch up because you can wait until all the dust settles and then whatever was actually really good, like people will still keep recommending
it'll
and then you can catch
filter
up on
and
it.
rise to the top.
That
Like
is
this
so
this is
true.
how I read American comic books because there's too much stuff coming out all the time to really keep track of what's any good.
Yep.
And I don't have enough free time to waste it reading crappy comic books, so I just wait until someone recommends something and then I'll just read it.
Yeah.
Or Kate waits until I buy the big hardcover.
Well, I figure if you bought it, it's probably because it's good, right?
Well, then
One
you
would
wouldn't be-
hope.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
wouldn't be so much in a cliffhanger. too.
Yeah, that's true. It's
Especially
nice
with
reading
what's
like a
going on,
completed story,
Yeah.
so you're not just like waiting week to week.
Especially
Like
with
me.
that Captain America stuff that's going on right now.
There's
Yeah.
a downside to that, though. Like, if you're catching up on a big old series and it turns out it's really good, and you're like, oh my god, this is great, I want to talk about it with somebody, and like,
Oh, yeah, and then it's
Nobody
old
way
news.
behind.
talked about
Yeah.
it for years.
Yeah,
God.
no, I missed the train on it,
missed
and
the excitement.
yeah, I've had that happen with other things where I'm like, no, I'm super into this right now, guys, and they're like,
talk to me.
oh, you mean this whole thing?
I'll talk to you about that, Kate.
Okay.
We're
It's
behind
okay, Kate.
together.
We can talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
No,
anytime.
yeah. I got into that like right after it ended. Like I remember seeing people be into it, and I was like, I don't know what's up with this show. It looks like an anime, but it's not.
Yep.
And then I watched it later, and I'm like, oh no, it's really good.
Well, remember, I did Avatar and Korra after Korra.
I haven't even watched Gora.
No, that's fine.
Well, at
You can
least
watch
you're
it
not.
at a time.
At least you're not like my friend Jet, who got like super drunk the last few episodes of Avatar and just kept rolling on the floor, going, "He's just a baby."
Wow.
I can tell like Jen is the kind of person who gets super emotionally invested
Oh, yeah.
into like fictional characters.
Well, yeah, you just see her with Token Rambu right now.
Oops.
All right. And finally, Caitlin, can you theoretically stick it with three? Name three influential anime for you.
Okay. I'm ready for this
All
one.
right.
Oh yeah,
Ready for this
Mentally
question.
prepared. Here we go.
yeah.
So first
And a
one
reason.
and a reason.
Shit.
Wait, shoot! You didn't talk about reasoning.
But then the rest of us will have to
damn it,
redo
no.
everything.
No.
All right, so probably number one would be Eden of the East, which was like a 12 or 13 episode long show, 2 movies. Unfortunately, the last movie was kind of disappointing,
No.
but it was the first series that I can in memory that I essentially waited until it was released, and then I watched the episode like the hour after it went up onto torrenting services. And it was really good. It was super great. It was like the Bourne Identity meets Saw kind of.
Oh wow.
Not really. That was not right.
Oh, so
It was like the Bourne Identity meets some series where people die one by one,
but not as gory.
but not as gory.
Okay.
Saw was not
Okay.
correct. Cut that
Yes,
out.
I couldn't get past Saw one
The
at
Final
all.
Destination? Is that right? Is that
Not quite. Like,
Not that
I
cheesy.
mean, premise is like everybody or 9 people get like 9 cell phones, and no, it's not 9.
Nine
That's
doors?
999. It's like
Some people get some cell phones.
It's 12. It's 12, right? 12 people get
12
cell
monkeys?
phones, and they have like $1 billion yen to save Japan. And those are the instructions they're given: save the country. And so each one of them takes it in a different direction. And once you run out of money, then the person who gave you the phone and the money will come and kill you.
Oh, wow.
Essentially.
Yeah.
So it's like you
if
spent all the
haven't
money
saved the
and you
country,
didn't.
then you're gonna die.
Wow.
Good lord.
Yeah. So, some people take it one direction, some people take it another, and we're following one person who has decided to wipe his memory and is trying to figure out what the fuck he was doing. Can I swear on this? Is
Yeah, you
that
can.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Reasoning with how much we're drinking.
That's fair.
And our
Not
first
sweet.
episode, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah,
inevitable.
like I'd wait until that came online and then I'd watch it immediately, and it was
Nice.
just
Yeah. That
it
sounds
was
super
really-
suspenseful.
It
I
was.
think it's all, well, maybe not the second movie, but I think all of it's on Netflix.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
think.
Yeah.
I own the
That's-
DVDs.
I remember seeing
too,
it
in
somewhere.
case you ever
I'll
wanna
look that
borrow
up.
them.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
I
Yeah,
loved it so
one of the
much I bought the DVDs.
That's one of the few Funimation ones that were on Netflix concurrently. That might still be on Hulu.
Nice.
We'll see.
Yeah. Second
one.
one. Your Lie in April.
Oh, it's more recent.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it is pretty recent, and it's super terrible, but not terrible in a it's bad way, but in a like you really care about these people that you're watching.
Well, and then it's like horrendous drama with them too. It's like all this terrible
horrendous
stuff
drama.
happens.
They're children essentially, but music was a big part of my life when I was growing up. Violin, especially, unfortunately.
So how do you feel about Nodame?
I haven't actually seen Nodame.
Oh.
I hear it's more lighthearted.
Yeah,
It's very
I've
cute.
heard that Your Lie in April is basically like the the like just sob and cry version of Nodame.
So basically, atonement.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, that one was really important to me, and I really loved it. And then we're gonna wrap this up with Karekano.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is like, yay!
That was my honorable mention because I couldn't fit it in 3.
I love Karekano so much.
Dennis just memed. He's like,
Just got hit with the Paro feels right there. Oh my god.
Yes, Dennis never knew until this moment that I was a huge
No,
Karekano fan.
Did not.
Yes,
I didn't
won.
realize you were a Bioshock. I'm just kidding.
Whoa, what?
You were right.
Yeah, I won 3 DVDs in a fandom competition.
That's awesome.
Basically it was like this guy would write fanfic stories about based on a British television show called The Killing Game.
oh,
And it was like a pan fandom thing, and then you were supposed to like figure out who did it and turn in like little quizzes. And I came in like second place in this thing, so I got 3 DVDs of Karekano. And one of the characters in the fic was a Karekano character. And so I was like, I have no idea who this guy is, but, you know, whatever, I'm doing this little fic thing. And then after I watched the show, I was like, oh my god, this is so great.
You also only had to buy one more disc because it's a 4-disc
Exactly.
series.
I mean, it's kind of
short?
sad that it's only a 4-disc series, but
6 episodes, but they load the
Yeah.
discs
Actually
up.
put
nice. Good job. Like,
Yeah,
that,
'cause
see,
it was from Right Stuff, so
no,
like
no more like
Oh, there you
2,
go.
3
Yeah, they
episodes
pack
per
it on
disc.
there.
yeah, it was good. And, you know, some people complain about the animation, but I thought it was really fun.
well,
and
it's only the animation for the last 3 episodes.
yeah, yeah.
Animation for the first 21 or 22 or 3 or whatever is fantastic.
Yeah, it's fine. And, you know, I liked it when they broke out of the, like, animated style to do, like, the little cutout art or whatnot. You know, yeah, Gainax. Yeah. And those are my 3.
So good. Just the last one. I approve your entire list because of the last one.
Yeah, other 2, whatever.
Other 2, I'm like, oh, it's good. That's good. Oh, crap. I don't think that's on Netflix or Hulu or anything like that.
I don't
Is there
yeah.
circumstances?
probably not.
Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Go watch it, go buy it. Anyway, before we get into our topic at hand today of Samurai X, let's go over a couple of news bits. First off, what we talked about last time, Anime Expo has rescinded.
Well, no, they rolled it back. Now
Yeah,
it's instead
the
of
background
everyone
policy.
having a mandatory background check if you're going to be anything but a regular attendee, now
now
it's optional.
Optional.
highly
so-
recommend.
Yeah, no, I think it's something like
should
AX
be-
staff and AX volunteers
Yeah,
have
they
to
have
take
to.
it.
Yeah.
But
Well, they should anyways because
yeah,
they're
Yeah.
AX was
employees.
going to
Perfectly
pay
fine.
for them to be checked anyway, which
Yeah.
is fine.
Yeah.
But now instead of placing this incredible like sudden burden onto all
Artist
the
alley
exhibitors
people.
and artists and guests of honor and panelists and all of these groups of people who really, you know, they give content to the convention.
Pretty much.
Now
$50
it's
is a lot,
optional.
too.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like, oh, me and my 3 co-panelists. Oh, we now have to drop $200 extra.
Yeah, which is
No, thank
BS.
you.
And
Which-
honestly, like, I don't know how I feel about giving AX my security, my social security number. Like, my
Right.
credit card number, fine. You know, if something gets compromised, I can call up my credit card and it'll get taken care of. But my social
social,
security
you can't-
number,
can't fix
like,
it.
if that gets out on the internet somewhere, like, that's, you know, that's messed up.
Yeah. With enough
And-
companies that get hacked, like
Yeah.
Sony.
Like I sent an
Yeah.
inquiry directly through the site asking, I didn't hear back, asking,
Ooh.
you know, what companies are you using
Yeah.
so I can research them
Yeah.
and the option to go with something I choose that's cheaper.
Yeah.
And then I didn't hear back. And I was like, that's really, they've always been kind of really shady.
Well, the whole thing just stunk of being super last minute and not well thought out. And
Well,
Yeah.
I'm happy
see-
that there was enough of a backlash that they actually, you know, took it.
Backpedaled.
They
I can
responded.
see-
Yeah.
to
yeah,
it.
yeah. At least they responded to it, but I can see why it was kind of sudden. Well, everything always gets done in May.
Oh.
That's what my experience is.
So like the rest of the year, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, AX
While-
is coming up," but that's later. That's
Yeah.
later. And then
Yeah.
Meg rolls around and they're like, "Oh shit."
Basically,
I guess
'cause-
we better implement this background check thing now.
Yeah, like there could be different departments that are on top of everything, but we can't do anything. There's nothing approved. We can't do anything until oh, it's May, we should do this. But also, the previous CEO left. Mm-hmm. So they got a new person who is, from what I hear, he's not into the whole convention scene, but he's a business guy.
Ugh. Oh no! Well,
it can be good and bad, but it depends how they do with it. But I can see he's trying to be good about it, like trying to protect the general populace, but going about it a totally wrong way.
Yeah.
But I can see he might be good, seeing as how it was rescinded. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping this new CEO, even though he's just temporary, I'm hoping it'll be a good thing, because I remember last time we had a CEO, it wasn't all that great.
Well, the last time they had a business-oriented guy who wasn't really into the whole anime scene, like, it seemed like he just took it as an opportunity to spend a whole bunch of the convention's money to fly first class and not really get anything done for the benefit of the convention.
Kind of not really. He didn't really know what he was doing, but one of his flaws was not talking to people.
Ooh, that's bad.
It's not really, not like as in like permission or saying what he's doing, is like talking to people. It's like, how do you do your job?
Yeah. So not
do
really
I guide you to
understanding
do your
how
job?
the different
Yeah,
sections function.
Yeah, he didn't understand how other divisions or how the whole thing worked. He kind of let the division managers just do whatever.
Do their thing.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully it isn't too big of an inconvenience to those who ended up having to, or who
Having to
already
go through the background
went
check.
through the background check and
Maybe.
paid. So.
I think that's a great way to lose a lot of your staff if they're just like,
That's a
I
great-
don't want. I'm volunteering for a convention. I don't want my privacy invaded.
Yeah.
In addition to that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that does any of AX's like staff or volunteers get paid?
Not that
It depends on what level you
staff maybe, volunteers probably not.
Yeah,
I think.
Volunteers, no.
definitely not.
You basically work for reimbursement.
Yeah.
But depending what level staff you are.
You may.
And
Well,
I agree with the
if you're getting
new
paid,
rule.
that's one thing.
Yeah, but you have to be like a department manager and above.
Yeah. So
Like,
if I were working for Anime Expo as a division head, I'd be getting paid.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And it also depends on they implemented a policy, I believe it was like maybe 4 years ago, where if you're first year, you're basically kind of
On probation.
Kind of, yeah. It was kind of a probation year.
Oh, so you don't get all the perks?
You don't quite get all the perks. Like, you still get a badge, but you don't get a room, and you don't get fed.
Oh.
But you get a couple dollars maybe for
You
for
get like,
lunch and dinner.
get a slight compensation.
Yeah, a little bit of compensation, but they want to make sure you're staffing and not just trying to get a free ride, which I agree with.
okay.
For new people, I
That's
agree
fair.
with that.
Yeah.
Probation, just in general, is fine.
Yeah.
But after like second year, and like I've been doing it 10 years, and basically I got a little jaded about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Can't
understandably.
imagine.
But I still agree with the policy. But it's kind of hard to get some other people motivated to do it.
Yeah.
But I said just think of it as a job probation instead of 3 months. It's just 1 year. Even
Yeah,
though
it's one con.
it's one con a year, and it's not like
Yeah.
it's gonna matter much.
It's not like you're a member of Wizard World having to go to 6 different conventions out of the year. So,
Oh, yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh.
Like, be probation for 6 different major events.
Yeah. No, that would be rough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Believe me, the promotions tour gets rough.
Yeah.
All right. And as for our second bit of news, by the time this episode comes out, unfortunately, as of June 1st, per ANN, a whole bunch of classic anime off Hulu is going to be removed.
Yeah, I was surprised to read about this.
Boo.
'Cause apparently,
How are we supposed
well,
to do our vintage anime podcast? without
to be
vintage anime?
honest, well, some of it wasn't even that old. It's just not brand new.
It's just not popular.
Yeah,
That's
well,
the thing.
I didn't realize how much, not necessarily obscure, but, less than 100% popular stuff was on Hulu, because I think a lot of us have turned to Crunchyroll and Netflix for anime, or, what other illegal streaming sites, which I don't encourage. But definitely Hulu was not my first thought when I think about watching anime online.
That's true. I didn't even know that Hulu had.
Yeah, I knew they had a
online
couple
until I
things,
saw
but
that
I
they were
didn't really know
getting
how
rid of
much
it,
they
and
had.
thought,
Yeah, I was like, I didn't even know this was on Hulu.
Yeah, I use Hulu to watch Trevor Noah. Like, what the?
Yeah, I think Hulu maybe is trying to rein in on how much variety they have. Like, maybe they
Yeah.
want to focus on doing
Yeah.
like TV clips and live,
Yeah, they want to start getting into
Live
live
action.
live stuff.
live
things.
streaming.
Or like
Yeah.
more current things, less of being an archive, more of being a what's current.
An
on-
actual broadcast type channel.
Yeah.
That's, I think Hulu is trying to get in the game with the help of other broadcast channels
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
own them.
In which case, anime is not the direction they want to go
No.
in.
Yeah, like
There's
if it's something that's super popular, then sure they'll keep it around. But
They
if
still
it's
keep it around, I
yeah.
think every title that Viz still has access to in their license that they have on Hulu will stay there. So don't worry, fans of One Punch Man, you're safe. That is super popular.
Oh, yeah.
And since it's on HD on Hulu, that is a great place to watch it if you have.
Yeah,
Hulu
I just
Plus.
rewatched an episode of that last night.
Oh, yeah. That also bodes well for people who are interested in the JoJo dub whenever Viz puts that out, because that'll probably be on Hulu too. A lot of Funimation titles are going away. I think a lot of Aniplex titles are also going to go away because they already have a lot of their stuff on Netflix and Crunchyroll anyway, and Daisuke.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just more of like,
I think
Unfor-
I think Daisuke is exclusively having the Iron Blood Orphans dub. I think
oh,
interesting.
I heard clips of that. It sounds pretty decent. I can't get used to Johnny Young Bosch yet. I
Too
still,
much
How?
Ichigo
He
or
just
Trigun.
talks.
it's too much Ichigo.
Okay, it was like too much Ichigo or Trigun. Those are the two big
Well,
ones.
because he's doing Orga, and I hear Hosoya, which is kind of a little bit deeper.
Yeah, that seems a little higher strained
Yeah.
for Orga. All right.
It's like watching Korra and hearing
Dante Bosco.
oh yeah. It's like this voice is coming out of this different person, and it's not right. It is wrong.
like this older man. He's like, who is this?
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately for me, one of the big downsides to Hulu losing a lot is there is now no way for people to watch the greatness that is Fist of the North Star. That's all on
Wait,
Hulu.
the old one or the new
The
one?
old one, the
Oh.
19, I want to say 70s or early
Oh my
80s.
god.
It might,
Was it really that great
well,
though?
you might have to just go back to
It's
YouTube
slow
for that.
It's slow, but it is still
Yeah.
great.
Well, yeah, if Hulu's trying to condense their offerings, like stuff
Yeah.
that's just not getting watched that much, is probably the stuff that they were targeting to take off.
Yeah, man.
So it's like they could use the bandwidth for something else.
Anime
Yeah.
brings in like less than 25% of what they're watching.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Well, although when you think about it, like anime as a genre, like even if it's only 20% of what they do, like that's still a significant portion considering most of their other stuff is like straight out of America, like nightly talk show clips and whatnot.
but they are cutting like the least popular of
Yeah.
those, which
Yeah.
some of them happen to be really big and just, no one cares to watch for them. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that for shows like Fist of the North Star, the target audience for that would be people who probably already own the DVDs if they love it that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So I imagine that's part of the reason why they're getting rid of.
And
some
there's
of
not
this.
even a complete dub for that. They only dubbed the first 36 episodes and the rest of it was subtitled.
Yeah, so
So-
if
That
it's sort of
show
an
went on
abandoned
for a while
project.
too, didn't it?
Yeah, it's 100.
Oh,
100 something? Good lord.
50 something
Yep,
episodes?
yep.
It's pretty long. I don't know if it covers the entirety of the manga. Because also a
Probably
bunch
not.
of these side stories and stuff too. And then there's a new Fist of the North Star thing that happened in late 2000s as well.
Yeah, but you know who's in that?
No. Who
Oh,
is
yeah,
that?
Sue. Guess who?
Really? What anime is he
Is he
not
right?
in?
No,
Oh. Rao? No. Who?
Kenshiro.
Really?
Yes. You gotta see it.
Oh no, now it's too late to watch it on Hulu.
No, the newer one, I think it's just like a movie or something like
But
that.
what's
so-
really funny is that the opening song that they decided to use, they just decided to go back in some, I don't know whose archive or iPod they went back, but they're using Gax Luna.
Huh.
And that's like from way back. I'm like, okay.
All right.
Stars, moon, stuff. You know, it works.
You know, gagged.
Gagged.
All right.
Kids love gagged.
Yeah, sure.
Well, they put him in Gundam, sure. Put him in a Final Fantasy.
Ah, yeah.
Sure.
He practically is a Final Fantasy
Yeah,
character.
his face is everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, that's about all the news that we got. So why don't we get into our talk for Samurai X?
Woo.
So,
This was my
it's yeah. Before we take our break, let's go just a little bit into it before we talk about the series. Oh, my laptop is away from the microphone.
Do we
It's
Here,
do we
stop for
go
time.
into
Stop for
live
time.
action?
no, well, gonna go in the
The live action
it's-
was great.
I can't remember if it took place between the TV series or post TV series. I feel like it's post.
Wait, the OAV?
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
like
pre.
when did it come out? Before the TV show?
I
Well,
think
it was
not when it was
between.
set, but like when was it actually
I
published?
think it may be
Yeah.
in between because they
Okay.
did a lot of flashbacks during the
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
So it might have been
Yeah.
in between,
Well,
Yeah, like it might be during that whole season 3 debacle.
or maybe
Let's go to
before
the
the last
phone.
arc.
Okay.
Probably before the last arc, I think.
Yeah. So
To give it a
is
bit of a background.
It is a 4-episode OVA. We are watching the director's cut version.
No,
for
which
this
where it
one.
was edited into a 2-hour movie.
Yes.
Like
so
Gundam
So-
Wing Endless Waltz.
Yeah.
Was that edited into a movie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a 3-parter and then. the
Oh
movie.
wow! Oh,
Yeah,
I've
the
only
DV
seen like the 3-parter.
The DVD has the
Both.
Yeah, it has both. I don't know if it's on the other
There's
side.
there's
or
a little
something,
bit different. Like one of them has more footage than the other.
but get a little bit
they're both
bigger
good.
budget for that.
Yeah. So honestly, like this one is a meaningful one for me because this is one of the first anime series that I ever saw that I recognized as anime
Oh.
and that I
Okay.
enjoyed. Like I had seen bits of Sailor Moon in DBZ and I was just like, I don't care. But
whatever.
I saw this and I was in film school at the time and I'm just like, oh my god, this is momentous. It's so meaningful. And then watching it again today, I was like, it's a bit heavy-handed in parts. Like there are some parts where I'm just like, no, that's not working.
Well,
But
you might be a little bit disappointed if you didn't like Dragon Ball with the voice cast.
well, it's not that I cared about the voices. It was more about the story. But I did really appreciate like what I hadn't seen in DBZ and Sailor Moon was like this sort of ongoing serious plot where like momentous things are happening. Like Sailor Moon was very Monster of the Week, and so was DBZ for the parts that I was seeing of it. So it
I
didn't
think
appeal.
for
DBZ
DCP,
is more like Monster of the double months.
Yeah, well, basically, like nothing happens.
Oh, I have an
Unless it
answer on the
was-
release time.
Oh,
unless it was a boss.
All right, so the OAVs were actually released after the anime series had concluded.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
There you
So people who had read the manga knew the content for this OAV from the manga, but since that never came out in the TV show, like
Yeah.
I think it was an interesting choice for an
I think they only
OVA.
hinted at some of the things, but they never flat out
Yeah.
gotten
Yeah.
to this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like it's funny because the TV show is really lighthearted,
Yeah.
and then it gets into a couple serious moments, but it's overall it's pretty lighthearted. And then this is just like heavy shit all the way through.
Funny too, the TV series was put out by a different company in America. I think it was, I want to say either Anime Works or Media Blasters.
But Anime Works is a part of Media Blasters, so you're
Correct. Stand by.
Sure.
I've got the answer.
So they released the TV series under Rurouni Kenshin.
Mm-hmm.
Studio Gallop was episodes 1 through 66. Studio Dean was 66.
Oh
through
no, that's the
95.
production in Japan.
No, who was the North American
Who
licensor?
released it in the
Oh.
US? I'm pretty sure it was Anime Works, which is part of Media Blasters.
We've got. Oh wait, no, this is the networks.
But
It went on Sci-Fi in Australia. Good
Wow.
lord.
That's why I thought it would be on a sci-fi in
Yeah.
America.
but
I feel like I've seen
It's
it on
not really a
TV.
sci-fi show though.
Well, they didn't really care back then.
Oh yeah, license by Aniplex in North America.
Well,
ADV in
now
UK.
ADV.
the license lapsed. Like
Yeah.
yeah, is there a pre-license for it on there? But anyway, whatever. Anime Works for we'll just say
for the
Anime Works
TV
now.
show,
Yeah, for the TV
and then
show.
the OVA was
OVA
ADV.
was AD Vision, which since they obviously are different production companies, they had to use a different English dub cast.
Oh,
for
okay.
This one, so like I was looking, I was like, none of these people were on the old Kenshin TV series.
Nope.
They're all on the OVAs for this, the Samurai X motion picture instead of Rurouni Kenshin motion picture, and they apparently reuse the same people for the new Kyoto arc.
Oh.
When
Okay.
they did that, like that was pretty recent. That was like late 2000 something, early 2010s. I feel.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But they pretty much kept the same with the Japanese cast.
They
Yeah.
did. Japanese cast stays. the
Yeah, I
same.
appreciate it. It's like Saito sounds like Saito because really no one else can sound like that.
No one does. No. Well, should we refill up on our beverages and then get into
Yeah. Oh,
episode
so
talk?
so just so that everybody knows, in honor of watching traditional or an anime set in like ancient Japan, we are drinking plum wine and sake,
Oh yeah.
yes.
And
Oh.
by
and it's
Eve's-
delicious.
By Eve's recommendation, we are mixing them together. What?
Yeah.
All right, we're drinking them out of those wooden boxes.
Yep.
From the
Because-
from the live action movie
Yeah.
premiere.
So Fun story. Like, we got these wooden sake boxes because we went to see the live action Rurouni Kenshin movie.
The first one, right?
Yeah,
the first one.
at Eiga Fest a couple years back, and a nice sake company was giving free samples in sake boxes, and I was just like, give me all your sake boxes.
I want some now. So
Yeah.
we'll post a picture of this online later on our Facebook and Twitter. So
Yeah, but you can
enjoy
also
those.
get
I'll include your.
you can also get
photo
like
frame
plain
there.
ones at
Yeah, I think.
Mitsuya, maybe?
Most
Something?
Japanese grocery stores will probably carry
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
but they don't have the stamp of I guess
Bless you.
the company that was promoting.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I think it was a prefecture thing. Like they were trying to be like, come visit us. Like we have lovely things like all of this
Sake.
free sake.
Oh yeah. All right, guys, ready?
Yes.
Oh
Okay.
yes.
All right, so let's get into the plot of the Kenshin OVA a little bit. So it's interesting. So if you've followed the Kenshin TV series, this is kind of different because it's a story that takes place before the TV series.
In the manga, it takes place fairly soon after the
Yeah, I think it's like
Kyoto
right
arc.
after the Kyoto arc because it gets you into the Inishi arc
Yeah.
in the manga. So you need this to background you. But this OVA itself, it's not told as a flashback. It's just told like, this is this time period. So it's
If
set.
anything, it's a weird like cross-cutting flashback because you go in the past and the present, and then slightly further back in the past, back
Yeah.
to the present, and then past again and the present. Like, what?
But it doesn't jump that far back. It's kind of like Kenshin as like a young kid, Kenshin as a young assassin, and then it goes
then
back and forth
present,
between there.
or-
Well, not present as in manga present, like not TV show
Yeah.
present. It doesn't go forward.
President and storyline president.
Yeah.
Story present.
So have we made it confusing enough?
So Kenshin is a Time Lord.
Yeah.
And
No, see, actually, I found it kind of easy to watch because I didn't know anything about the TV show. I hadn't heard of it. So just watching this OVA alone, I felt like it stands by itself pretty well.
That does.
So basically, you start out, it's this era in ancient Japan of there's a lot of turmoil, like people are trying to overthrow the government, a lot of common people are getting caught up in this and dying. So you see that young Kenshin, the group of people that he's with get attacked and slaughtered, and he gets saved at the last minute by Hiko, who eventually comes his sensei, his shisho, and teaches him everything about swordsmanship.
And
so,
sake.
yeah. So he gets rescued by Hiko, who renames him Kenshin and takes him under his wing, makes him his apprentice, teaches him everything about how to be a badass with a sword. And then Kenshin gets caught up in the politics of the time. And Kenshin's a fictional character, but all the political stuff going on at the time is, it actually happened. Like, some of the people who show up in this OAV are historical figures.
They don't look like that, but
Well, Kenshin's really the only one who looks weird because it's like, oh, this guy with red hair and this
face
scar.
That could actually be accurate because the only people who were let into Japan at the time were Dutch people. So Dutch people do have red hair. So
Yeah,
could
they don't really
be
make any
half
kind of
Dutch.
indication that he's like potentially a foreigner, especially because he's real short.
yes, they really don't. But I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Red
that's
hair
true.
could in theory
Potentially,
happen.
yeah. So Kenshin's the only one who kind of looks like an anime character. There's a lot of Japanese people walking around with samurai hairstyles, wearing kimono, who just kind of look like samurai. So
it's not
watching
until
this,
the TV series
the
we
first
get,
time,
like, the weirder hair.
yeah, it's sometimes it's hard to distinguish all like the guys with samurai hairdos and kimono because they all look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's always
So-
a reoccurring theme that Hichikata is a good-looking one because he's historically good-looking.
So Kenshin ends up becoming a great swordsman, but he wants to, he doesn't want to be on the sidelines while all this political conflict is going on. So he chooses a side, and his master is like, don't do this because you're so powerful that whatever side you choose is going to win eventually. And Kenshin's young and doesn't listen. So he picks a side. He ends up working as an assassin. So there's all of these scenes of him killing people in the streets in the name of political
revolution.
It's basically they're trying to do a revolution through killing important political figures. And he ends up killing this young guy who's just about to get married, who gives him a scar on his face, and there's a lot of symbolism in this. So this scar like never really heals because this guy was so passionate about living because he was going to get married. So Kenshin's scar that this guy gave him never really heals, and he's trying to figure out like what's up with this. Kenshin's not a very introspective guy. He's just kind of like, well, this is what I do because I'm doing it.
Moral of the story, always listen to your teachers.
Yeah, right? See?
Things will turn out better for you.
Yeah.
So that's a good first episode of the OVA right there. Like most of it, there's the ending that we didn't get to, but I didn't want to get into who is in this show besides Kenshin. We can talk about Kenshin first if you want.
Well, I think on the Japanese side, like all of the seiyuu for the characters are the same as the ones in the TV series.
Yes.
So I'm happy that they were able to keep that continuity.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see like
the same.
Yeah, like
Her
Kenshin
voice
is
sounded the
voiced
same.
by a woman in the TV show,
But without the Dagozaru.
she's got like a little the way Kenshin talks is completely different. But it's interesting to see like you can tell it's kind of the same voice, but the inflection is different. Like the way of speaking is different because it's a different vocabulary.
Be Kenshin, but be more serious.
Yeah, no, but it's like it's a younger
Okay.
Kenshin, so it sounds more boyish. But since it's a woman, it kind of sounds more like a young girl.
You know.
So Eve, who do we have as Kenshin?
I just did the older version, the Mayo Suzukaze. She doesn't do too many things. She's mostly in taiga dramas and theater.
Oh,
So yeah,
Classy.
yeah.
She's played
Not getting caught up in this anime trash.
Yeah. Right?
for the taiga drama. She's mostly known as Lady No and Goemon's wife.
Oh,
Those are the two more notable ones. And then in anime, she's the main character for Snow Queen, and then Mary Charlotte in Chevalier de Eon.
oh,
And the English voice actor for Kenshin in the OVA is J. Shannon Weaver, who is also the voice of Okita Soji in Samurai X as well. So he plays two voices
That's
in the
weird.
show.
yeah.
He reprises Kenshin for all the other ADV productions. So for Samurai X the Motion Picture and Rurouni Kenshin New Kyoto Arc, he's Kenshin in both of those. He's also Genji Yamano in Get Backers and Shiroi Kumo in Final Fantasy Unlimited, which
Get Baggers!
Get Backers is pretty good. Final
It's
Fantasy
hella
Unlimited is
BL though.
not.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
It's so BL. Like the promotional images and whatnot is so BL.
All right, Eve, who else do you have?
Okay, for Tomoe, I have Junko Iwao. She's both the voice actress and a singer.
Ooh, cool.
She's the main character Akane in Magic Users Club, and then Kotori in the X movie, Tomoyo in Cardcaptor Sakura,
Oh,
Ceres in Ayashi no Ceres.
Okay.
oh my God.
Yeah.
That's going way back, way back.
The first series to actually make me realize that I could have feelings about a show.
Wait till you see Shigi Yugi.
Oh,
I also binge watched that back in high school.
Oh, good.
All 8 discs.
Yep.
Ooh.
You're
in
missing 3 more.
under 48 hours.
whoa.
And that really didn't affect me as much as Sarah's. Like Sarah's, I watched the entire series in one night, and
Seriously?
then
Oh
I
my
was
God.
unable to go to sleep, and I wasn't sure why until I realized
Yeah.
I'm having feelings about fictional characters. I'm depressed for fictional characters.
Aw.
It was like her more darker series, Yuwatase.
Yeah, Yuwatase always rips your heart out. Even in Alice the 19th, like what?
At first, those were like good ripping out heart, but this one was just like, dang.
Yeah, this one was like, I'm doing this because I can hurt you.
Ooh.
Well, it's based off an old legend.
Okay.
Right.
I actually haven't watched that yet because I wanted to.
I watched some of it. I don't know if I
I'll watch
finished
it.
I never finished. I never started, but
I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't finish it because after I finished it, I literally couldn't sleep.
Yeah, I don't think I finished it. I think like we rented a couple discs and I watched it and I was like, okay, that was kind of good. And then for some reason, like we just didn't get more.
Well, now you know what to do if you ever find a maiden's robe.
Don't touch it. Don't even.
So anyway, getting back
Anyway.
to Kenshin.
Yeah, sorry.
Tomoe is played by Rebecca Davis, who reprises the role of Tomoe in Samurai X motion picture. It's also Ixelles in Exelion and Yotsuba Meiko in Sakura Diaries. So, a couple of other good roles there for her. Who else we got, Eve?
Oh, we got Enishi. Even though he shows up in the later half of the movie, it's Sasaki Nozumu, which I put. To me, he's most notable as Shin Mori in Yoruiden Samurai Troopers,
Oh.
and then he's also Yusuke in Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh, hey, that's more important.
Oh my god.
But he has a lot of roles, like he's Ruka in Utena, Errol in Cardcaptor Sakura, Mello in Death Note,
Oh, wow.
Julian in Legend of Galactic Heroes.
So he has a lot. He has a very extensive.
It's quite a spread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
very,
he
very
doesn't-
main character type.
Yeah, he was good. He was active, like what I call the golden age of voice acting. He's more active there, but his latest role was Ushio in Ushio and Tora.
Oh.
And she's played by Brian Gaston. He only has two other roles besides Enishi. It's Jiro in Shuten Doji the Starhand Kid and Ichiro in Sakura Wars.
Okay.
Oh.
I recognize one of those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good on you for trying something.
So, and we'll have Hiko is Shuichi Ikeda, and really the only thing you need to know about Shuichi Ikeda is that he's Char, but also Shanks, but mostly Char.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that he's Shanks.
Yep.
But yeah, he's definitely the mentor type.
Well, Shanks appears in like 5 episodes total out of 700 in One
No, but
Piece. so.
they're always important, though.
They
Like,
are.
whenever Shanks makes an appearance, it's important.
Yeah, but he's not really a mentor role in Char. Char is more like the let's fuck shit up mode.
And Hiko is played by Joe York. Unfortunately, that's his only anime role because a couple years after that, he unfortunately succumbed to cancer. So
Wow.
it's heavy. Sorry, Joe. But there were actually some pretty good comments on there. It was like, I like his role as Hiko. He's better than the TV version of him. So kudos to him.
Yeah.
All right, hit me with a couple more.
I'll go with Katsura. Not Gintama Katsura. It's Seki Tomokazu, who is super popular with
Everybody.
a lot of things. Like G Gundam Domon, Toji and Evangelion, Chichiri and Shigeyugi, Sakura's brother Toya and Cardcaptor Sakura, Kyo and Fruits Basket, Sosuke Full Metal Panic.
That's a lot of good
So
roles.
yeah,
lot
he
of
is like a major main character.
Gilgamesh, of course.
Oh,
Bon and Escaflowne.
Zashu.
Kamui in the X movie.
He's alright.
And you can always tell it's
does
usually a
some
Seki Tomokazu character when he screams. He has a very distinctive scream. Both him and Shinichiro Miki have a very
Oh wow.
distinctive scream.
I don't feel like he had any screams in this though.
When he got kind of angry, I heard it. Well,
Oh.
I'm used to it, but I heard it. But
Yeah, you have an ear for these things.
yeah, well, certain ones, yeah. But you can hear him in his most recent role in Joker game as Sakuma.
Nice. Eve, I'm just going to say, I can't wait for when we do Escaflowne. You watch the
everyone in
Club
there.
Escaflowne stuff that's going on. Those are amazing. But Katsura is played by Corey M. Gagny, who actually has the distinction of also playing Ichiro in Sakura Wars, but for the TV dub, not the movie dub,
Okay.
or the OVA dub, which is bringing us on. He's also Paul Wang in Get Backers and Hansen in Nadia, both the TV and the movie. Secret of Blue Water. All right.
A couple more. At least Takasugi is Wataru Takagi, which right now you'd probably recognize him as Okuyasu in the 4th arc of JoJo. But for older people, he's Obito in Naruto, Ganju in Bleach, and Sanzo in Sayuki.
I don't have that one.
Oh, that's
Oh,
important.
that's fine. Let's go to the next one. Saito is Hirotaka Suzuki, which since we have Shuichi Ikeda, what's Shuichi Ikeda without Bright Noah? Of course, Tatewate Kuno.
Oh yes. Oh God, I forgot about that.
And he's
Oh no.
So good.
Noriaki Kakyoin for JoJo.
Oh,
The newer one or the old one?
the old one, right?
the old one.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not around anymore.
And I do want to point out that Iizuka is Ryusei Nakao, which I used to follow him from Vice when he was Farfarello. But he's also mostly known around the entire world as Frieza.
Oh, wow.
So that makes him, what's his face? Caesar in One Piece.
Oh, okay.
And he's also Mairi in Bleach.
Oh.
Okay.
So he's good with bad guys.
He's the weird high-voiced bad guy roles.
Yeah.
He has a very distinct kind of twang.
Yeah. Saito is played by Ken Webster, who is Ashram in Legend of Crystania. I'm surprised it's just for that one and not Lodos itself, but I'm guessing because ADV has that, while Manga Core or US Manga had the OVA. That's
Probably,
different.
yeah.
He's also Dr. Boskonovich in the Tekken
Oh my
motion
God.
picture. And then Izuka is played by LB Bartolome, who is Kurama Benkei in Getter Robo, Segawa Tetsuro in Guyver, and Bishop in Coyote Ragtime Show. Those are all the ones I got. All right.
Okay.
Do you have Kiyosato?
No, I don't.
Well, he's Tetsuya Iwanaga. I know him as Tomite in Fushigi Yugi, but he's also Merrick in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh.
And I haven't seen Madoka.
He's Tan Yugi.
Yeah. I haven't seen Madoka, but I'm guessing Tomohisa Kaname is Madoka's dad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
very few dudes in Madoka. Like maybe
It's-
basically Madoka's dad, Madoka's little brother who's a baby,
and
Kyubey.
yeah, violin dude.
Oh yeah, violin dude. Oh, he like barely talks.
Since his last name is Kaname, I figured he was the dad.
That makes
Oh,
sense. That makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's see if I can condense the rest of the Kenshin plot.
No, we just keep going from there.
Oh, okay.
So
Or we could just do the comments.
no, well,
well, let's go through the story. Since we mentioned all these characters now, let's talk about how they actually come together. Because let's see, where we left off, Kenshin killed this dude who managed to scar him, and the wound won't really heal. So what happens after that is a girl sees him carry out an assassination, and he's like, oh shit, should I kill her? What do I do? But she faints into his arms.
That's probably the most brutal of the kills, I feel, because
Yeah.
he, the assassin's pretty good, kind of dressed as a ninja. He has
So
Kenshin
instead
chained
of
up.
like Kenshin actually, trying to target somebody to kill him, this time Kenshin is being targeted by this ninja guy. And
He gets
basically
jumped in an alley.
Yeah, he gets jumped in an alley, and then this ninja guy basically gets sliced in half while he's jumping at Kenshin, and like blood flows through the air.
It's also with his own sword. Like Kenshin had
Yeah.
his sword dropped, so he used a sword that was at the end of a chain.
He gets killed
Yeah,
with his
yeah.
own sword, like
Yeah.
bisected,
Yeah.
and his blood gets
Swords
all
were
over
really
this
sharp
girl.
back then.
Yeah.
And she faints into Kenshin's arms, and then he decides to take her
I'm
back
going-
to their hideout.
I'm going to assume he missed the spinal column. And just, like,
yeah,
kinda went
yeah, I
next
guess.
to it.
Yeah,
It's a lot of bones to cut through.
that's
it
true.
really is. But as we saw in the show, like his sword is really sharp.
He can cut through a lot
Yeah.
of bones.
He can
Yeah.
cut. Well, his master can cut somebody into like 8 different pieces in like 3 strokes.
That's
Yeah, it's just like
It's
whip,
nothing.
whip, whip, and then exploding.
Boom.
Yeah, no, it's like everyone must have super, super high blood pressure because if they get cut, like blood is just spurting out like everywhere.
Look at the time that these guys are living in. It would have high blood pressure being surrounded by
Yeah,
war
there's
the
a lot
entire
of
time.
tension. Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
know
I
if
guess
you're gonna
that's
get like
true.
cornered and killed in an alley.
A lot of
Should work
tension
on a low
from
sodium
Kenshin.
diet.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a lot of tension from Kenshin.
Tension, tension. Wow, take a drink. Take a drink.
Gladly.
Of course, stop drinking.
Okay, so Kenshin ends up with this girl who saw him murder somebody, but she faints into his arms and he takes her back because he doesn't want to kill her. And she ends up
'Cause she
working
pretty.
at the hotel where he and all of his dudes are holed up in. So she starts working there, and he's kind of like, this is really awkward because she saw me kill somebody, but maybe she was drunk, so she didn't remember, and I don't know.
She said a lot of times, like, I was really drunk last night. Thank
Yeah.
you for taking care of me. So it's
Yeah.
like, does she remember? Does she not remember?
So
It'd be really hard to forget somebody cutting somebody in half, but I'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, maybe she's
By
just
the
like,
way,
I
where am
must
I-
have imagined that.
By the way, where are my clothes? Why are they still in the laundry?
Yeah, yeah.
Where's the knife I was keeping with me?
Yeah. So
Why did my white kimono turn pink?
basically Kenshin's side, like some stuff goes down where they almost get wiped out, and he has to go into hiding in the countryside. And his boss tells him, you should take this girl Tomoe with you, and you should pretend to be husband and wife, because then no one will suspect you.
And that was the scene where that happens. That was actually, you said it was something that actually happened in historically.
Yes,
right?
yeah. So this big fight that goes down at the Ikedaya Inn, like that's a real thing that happened. The real Ikedaya is in Kyoto. It's apparently burnt down and rebuilt, because apparently most things in Kyoto got burnt down and rebuilt because it was all made out of wood.
Everything out of wood.
Yeah, wood, and like no laws about keeping buildings far apart from each other so that they won't catch on fire.
That's what happened in Chicago too.
No cows kicking over this fire, though.
Yeah. So, the real Ikedaya incident happened. So Kenshin's side is like in dire straits, and that's why a bunch of them have to go into hiding.
We should specify that Kenshin is fighting for the Choshu clan,
Yes.
which was half managed by the Kiheitai. It's, if you follow Gintama, it's basically half of the Joey. So it's just Katsura and
it's funny
Takusi.
because this period of time is covered by so many different anime. It's an interesting period in Japanese history because a lot of change is going on, but it's also a really good topic for anime apparently.
Yeah.
Let me
there's
tell
all these
you
different
about the Sengoku
takes on
era.
it. Oh yeah. Well, it's like Sengoku era, and then this Bakumatsu era where Kenshin is set. Like
There's
so much
Kenshin.
rapid changes going on.
There's Peacemaker Kurogane.
There's Hakuoki. There's like everybody loves the Shinsengumi, and in this, the Shinsengumi are sort of the bad guys. But when you see them, they're all really badass, so you don't really care that they're the bad guys.
Everybody's badass.
What's really funny is that a lot of travel books and magazines that I found, they mention Sakamoto Ryoma, but they don't mention Shinsengumi, which is weird.
Yeah, it's interesting because they're on opposite sides, and in Kenshin, Sakamoto Ryoma would have been on the same side as Kenshin would have been, but you don't see him at all. He's never
I think
mentioned.
he was assassinated by then.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
But yeah, it's really interesting because as popular as depicting Shinsengumi is in Japanese media, he's not really. They're not really mentioned in travel guides and whatnot. I guess they think foreigners might not understand, but
Yeah, but some of these bits of Japanese history, like unless you're into anime and know Sakamoto Ryoma or the Shinsengumi because of that, you're probably not likely to know it unless you're big on Japanese history.
Basically, this period in Japan is akin to World War II replications in America, like with all the
no.
movies and
I
TV.
think he
No.
means civil war.
Yeah, it's more like a civil war. It's all in internal conflict.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is before Japan was opened up to the
Well,
West.
I meant
like
more of
media-wise.
I meant more media-wise. Like we
Oh.
have so many World War II type movies.
Yeah.
True. Saving Private
And-
yeah,
Ryan.
it's really ripe for people to tell stories
MASH
about.
TV show,
I know,
all
but
the video
for-
games and stuff. Like
Captain
Call-
America.
Well, before the turn of the century, it was all about civil war and
True.
American
Yeah.
Revolution.
True.
So it's just like modern, Vietnam and World War II are modern, turning points that people like to tell stories about.
Okay.
It's true.
So yeah, but actually Kenshin's boss is Katsura Kogoro, who was a real historical figure. He was like the head of the Choshu clan. And one of the things they say in this series is that he's trying to keep himself out of the conflicts and keep himself from killing anybody, and that's why they pick up Kenshin so that he can do the things that Katsura Kogoro can't do because he has to be clean
He has
as
to be
the
the
leader of
face.
the clan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has to be the face.
Yeah.
So someone else can do all the dirty work.
He's pretty dreamy. I'd follow him.
Well, he's very noble.
I mean,
like you see how
voice
worried he
actor
is
like
about things.
Seki, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's funny because he has, and then in Gintama it's Ishida Akira. So you already know he's got a death flag.
Oh. So anyway, Kenshin and Tomoe end out in the countryside playing house, and then it turns out that they're actually really good at it.
Hold on, we get the weirdest animation that happens in this part
my
where
God.
Yeah, no,
they're
this is the
Right,
part where it's
yeah.
just like, this is fairly well animated. The character design is a real departure from
Yeah,
the TV
there are
anime.
some- there are
but
some-
it's not bad.
there are some slow scenes that are happening,
Yeah.
but it's still like beautifully well done.
It's artistic.
Yeah, it's artistic. When the action scenes happen, oh man, they're really brutal.
Yes, yeah, the fight scenes are great.
But I want to say this is the third episode or first episode of Betrayal, if you want to go that way. Third episode in the entire OVA. what are these live things that are happening in anime?
Did they run
This
at a
weird
time?
thing where they actually use some live action footage of water or fire or something like that,
Or a
and
tree?
They
or
just try to
spinning
snow,
top.
or
like-
the top. Oh,
yeah. So they have like a still frame of drawn setting, you know, like a fireplace or whatnot, and then this live action fire in the middle of it, and it just doesn't blend at all.
I will say
It's super
You can
distracting.
see the edges too.
It looked worse than when we watched Blue Sub 6 and they had the 2D
CG.
animation of like the people on the pier and then the CG animation of the boat with the CG guy.
Yeah, at least
not
the CG guy
moving
was
the
kind
same
of
place.
cell shaded.
Yeah. I mean, it looked a little awkward. I was like, well, it's the first time doing this, where I can buy that, that's fine. It doesn't look as jarring, it just looks surprising. Where this was like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah, no, it's just like when you're
Brain
used
can't
to
comprehend.
seeing the
Especially
way
then.
things are animated, and then you see this live action thing, it immediately your eye spots that it doesn't move the same.
Yeah.
Well, back then it's like you didn't really notice it that much, but now that
Yeah,
we're
I
introduced to like
guess.
new ways of animation and technology and whatnot.
Yeah, I think
Watching
we're
going back, it's like what?
But
Maybe-
they animated the fire in another scene, and it's
Yeah.
like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
well, it's like if you're gonna show this scene from two angles, and like the first angle has this live action fire, and the second angle it's animated, like why? Why didn't you just pick an easier angle so you didn't have to use this
or
live
just
action?
cut the artistic shot of the fire.
Yeah.
Because
you know?
Studio Dean.
Because
Yeah.
Studio Dean.
I think they took a nosedive. Studio Dean took a nosedive after
Or during, or
no one,
during.
or maybe
know.
during. But ever since then, it's like a lot of stuff they've done is not.
That's
Yeah.
good. Well, really, I feel like the trees and the water and the fire and the snow aside, the worst one that we saw was the swords clashing in
Oh, at the very end.
at the very end.
Oh
where,
god, the epileptic
where
flashing.
Oh
they
yeah,
must have had like two interns with swords just clashing, and they filmed it, and then they ran it through a Photoshop filter, and it's like, this show is about people sword fighting.
why does it look so bad?
Why did you decide to go live action with the sword fighting?
At the
You drew
climax
every
too.
other shot.
Climax.
You drew every other scene well.
That's the one
Yeah.
place where you don't
Maybe
want us
they
to
ran out of
laugh.
time and money. I guess.
I want to say what Eve pointed out. I was like, maybe it. So with the current technology, we're just seeing these flaws. But like, we were watching this on a gorgeous TV in Ed's place, and it's just nice and well blown up. I'm sure if I watched
Yeah, actually,
it on,
the
like,
DVD resed up to an HD TV still looked nice.
yeah, if I watched it on like a 21-inch CRT TV, I'd be like, oh, I can't tell.
Dude, I like watched this on like a
Live action
19-inch TV in my friend's dorm room, like I don't know how many years ago, more than a decade ago, and at the time it impressed me so much.
And now,
Yeah, now it's just like nitpick.
Back then it was super deep.
Live
Yeah,
action
yeah.
sword clashing.
Well, there's still a lot that I like about it. I feel like they do a lot with subtle cues that where a lot of anime ends up being really over the top and kind of hits you over the head with obvious, like, oh no, this guy is going to become a bad guy. Like Kenshin is like this OAV is a little bit more subtle in how they do that. Like
Yeah.
I'm watching it this time, like because I know the plot. It was interesting seeing, like, trying to figure out, watching Tomoe, seeing how they animate her, seeing what clues they're foreshadowing with her reactions and the way that she talks.
Yeah.
and then with like the reveal for Itsuka, I'm just like, oh, I completely forgot about this happening. Whoa,
Not
forgot.
gonna lie.
Yeah, there's a lot
I
of
thought he had a
ambiguity.
weasel face from the beginning.
Oh yeah,
That's
but sometimes you
The
can tell. Like,
mustache.
It's a twirly mustache. Well, he doesn't have a twirly one. He has like
yeah, is
He
he
has,
like
like, a
a
porn
weasel
stash
type
thing.
because he's good at communicating news to everybody, or is he a weasel face because he's actually going to betray everybody?
No, just
Because
the way
he's
his
an actual
face
weasel.
looked.
yeah,
he's a
Yeah.
humanoid weasel,
Yeah.
and
He's a weasel with a blood mop.
yeah. So let's finish up the rest of the story. Before
Yeah,
we...
sorry.
So Kenshin and Tomoe end up playing house, and they're really liking it, and they're sort of getting more comfortable with each other. And then Izuka comes by, who's supposed to be the one like giving them news about stuff. And let's see, am I getting ahead of myself?
a little bit. He's basically saying, don't go back to Kyoto right now.
Yeah,
because-
like Kyoto's too hot. Like everybody's on the lookout for you. You should stay away.
here.
Like stay
and,
here.
And then he's realizing that Kenshin hasn't actually been like fighting, or might be like losing his drive to do this.
Yeah.
And then that's when you get like the face. It was like, hey.
Yeah, and that's like your first clue that, oh, hey, this guy has
he's getting complacent.
Ulterior motive.
Words, but
yeah.
You know.
They're getting introduced to the brother.
Yeah, so suddenly Tomoe's brother shows up, and he, like, can't do anything except glare at Kenshin, basically.
For real, though, because she says exactly what I'm thinking. She's like, how the fuck did you get here? Like,
yeah, because they're supposed to be in hiding, so the fact that he found her is pretty suspicious right off the bat. Especially because he's like, no, we're doing this because, for your dead fiance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, don't you want to take revenge?
Just before that, we see Itsuka. Is it Itsuka or is it Izuka?
Izuka.
We say Izuka meet his second boss because he's playing two sides, and Anishi is introduced, and yeah.
So the thing that I haven't mentioned during all of this that it probably would have been good to mention before is that the guy who was so passionate about living because he was just about to get married, that was Tomoe's fiance that Kenshin killed.
Way.
Oh my god. So like this whole time she's,
it is a small world.
She's not just an innocent bystander pulled into this madness. Like she had a motive for being there at that time. So Kenshin, ends up rescuing her, but really she was trying to get close to him. And now that they're playing house, there's this ambiguity of, is she still trying to take revenge for her dead husband to be, or is she actually falling in love with Kenshin? Mm-hmm. And the sad part is that, she is actually falling in love with Kenshin. And
also
the revenge plan is going forward without her.
Yeah. Like, she's just letting it kind of happen and unfold as she's trying to figure out her feelings.
Yeah.
And the problem with doing that is that everybody else goes on going like, oh, well, you'd want this, right?
Yeah,
Like her brother is
this
like,
is the revenge
I don't
plan.
understand why you're not on board with us, like totally just running in right now and shanking this dude.
Yeah.
She's like, just go home. Just go home.
And really, like,
she doesn't say like, I kind of like him, so maybe we shouldn't do this. No, she just says, just go home.
Yeah, which is completely unsatisfying. Like, of course he's not going to accept that.
Yeah.
Maybe
Like, if she actually, told him, hey, I love this guy and I forgive him for what he did, and really it's not the situation that I thought it was, so I don't want to kill him anymore.
I think we would still get the angry Anishi glare.
Yeah.
He'd still be like, Stockholm Syndrome.
He was really trying to develop and hone it during this.
Yeah.
He was almost there.
He was almost there. It's a little exaggerated in this show, I think. I think that he just, contorts all of his face. He really finesses it during the third season of the anime.
In the manga, because
he grows into it.
Yeah, they never animated his section in the anime. No.
I thought they were going to.
No, they skipped over it.
He appears in Reflections.
Yeah, as a flashback.
The less I say about that, the better.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it's interesting because this story is like something that has already happened in the past of when the manga was being written. So a lot of these characters, like, they can't really change a lot. It's like Tomoe needs to be this important
tragic heroine.
Yeah, she's a tragic heroine, and in the manga, like, Kaoru is trying to live up to this memory of this sort of perfect person. So when you actually see her in her time when she was alive, there's not a lot that she can do to really change that impression.
It's true.
So she has to be really ambiguous.
Yeah.
Like, same thing with Anishi. He has to be really single-minded because he's single-minded in the present of the manga when he fights Kenshin as an adult.
Yeah.
So he can't be persuaded by Tomoe.
Yeah.
So in some ways, there's not a lot they can do with writing this story.
Yeah.
It's true. They're a little boxed in because they are going for a prequel after.
Yeah, which is sort of
anime
like,
has
it's a
concluded.
prequel, so it has to be a tragedy.
Yeah. We all know.
We can only hope for a live action Anishi.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that could still be a possibility.
If they give the director more money.
I'll give him more money.
Like the director said during his interview, he just
put that up on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Kickstarted that
Would that
shit.
do you think that would be a two-part? They have to do the
I would do it as a
flashback
two-part.
and then the
Three-parter.
fighting.
Yeah.
That would
I
actually
want
be
that
neat.
flashback movie. Like, if we could get
That'd
this
be
OVA
neat.
as a live-action movie, I'm on board.
You
Complete
could,
with live-action fire.
but can he really do?
live action chopping
Live-action
someone in
swords.
half.
They'll just animate the fire for the live.
But can they
Episode
really,
title.
Can they really do the Enishi stuff within 2 movies, or do they need a third?
Well, I think
They
they
might
would
have to
they
do
would
2
they would play part of
middle
Enishi
part
at the
would be so
start,
depressing.
and then the last 2/3 might be the story of the past. They could condense that a little bit. I feel like they could.
Yeah, probably.
There was a lot of walking in
Because
the
this'll
snow while
be-
bleeding.
It might be good
the-
to have it from not just Kenshin's perspective, but also start out with just Enishi's perspectives, because since we went through Kenshin's perspective for the first 3 movies,
I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see it.
it would be a lot shorter if it was through Enishi's perspective.
It would, yes. And I think it's an interesting perspective because Tomoe mentions in this OAV, but because their mother died when she was having Enishi, that he thinks of Tomoe as both a sister and a mother.
Yeah, which explains
So-
why he has such a hard time letting her go.
Yeah. So seeing that perspective would be interesting as opposed to just, he's crazy.
Yeah.
He's
true.
bonkers.
Yeah, I like that they at least make an effort to sort of say, like, no, well, it's justified because of this. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's a crazy person, but
But it's pretty glossed over
Yeah.
in the OVA. It's just kind
Yeah.
of like, oh, he thinks of me this way, which is why he wants me to leave, and he doesn't
yeah.
understand.
It's interesting
why
that they
I'm-
say, oh, it was really hard on him when I got engaged to this other guy.
Yeah.
And yet now that this other guy is dead, he's not just like, oh, hey, you're going to come home with me now, right? No,
Right.
it's like, no, we have to take revenge for your dead
That
fiance.
is true. Yeah.
Like,
He's
why does he
kinda
care
like-
about the dead fiance? He
I-
didn't even like him.
Yeah, I mean, I
Well-
guess he cares about the dead fiance because that's what he thinks that taking revenge would make Tomoe better.
Or
Oh,
happy,
okay.
Because
yeah.
there's that
Yeah,
scene
so
where
it-
he's
it
like
resolves
shaking her
that.
and she's just like catatonic.
Yeah.
And so that's what he really cares about is Tomoe not being catatonic, I guess.
Yeah.
And so he's
Well,
like,
he wants his sister/mom back.
yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like if we complete this revenge, then she
Then
won't
everything's
have
fine.
anything to burden her anymore, and she'll come home and be my mom
Yeah.
again.
She won't be sad anymore about her dead fiance because hey, the circle is complete.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
No, that's not how that works, Anishi.
Yeah, I can
Sorry.
understand, like, there's a lot of talking about finishing what you start, because Tomoe finds out that, oh, hey, this revenge plan is going forward without me, so she tries to stop it and ends up getting taken hostage, and they're like, well, this is not about, like, you're so weak that you're, not going to go through with this, and we're going to carry this out because this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And Kenshin gets caught up in this, and the big like twist where I'm like, whoa, when I watched it the first time is that she's like, but I didn't even tell you what his weaknesses are, and he's like, that's fine, we made you his weakness.
Oh yeah, that.
And I was just like, oh, that's cold, like, oh
no,
damn.
How could you?
Savage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it also does kind of bank on the they took a real gamble, being like, maybe he'll like her, maybe she'll like him.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe if we put them far enough away in the boonies, there won't be anything else around, so they'll be like, you don't look so bad.
Well, yeah, like two young pretty kids, like, yeah, why not?
I guess that's true.
Well, maybe
That's
they
true.
assumed that, like, if she doesn't like him, she'll kill him. If she does like him, that it'll work out okay too.
Yeah. If she really hates him, then she'll shank him and
Yeah.
we'll be done with this whole
Yeah.
thing. Maybe that's what we should be hoping for instead of this convoluted revenge plot.
Yeah, when you consider, like, they've really committed a lot of resources for killing this one guy.
Yeah, I know. Well, I guess he killed a bunch of dudes.
Well,
so
you know what
Yeah,
they
but then
went
he
through-
kills even more dudes at the end.
I guess that's true.
You even know what what they do with Shishio too. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, there's, at the very end in the epilogue, Katsura comes back and it's like, it's okay. Like, I heard about all this terrible shit that happened to you, and I'm sorry, and you don't have to assassinate anyone anymore. We got a different guy for that now. And of course, everyone knows. It's like, oh shit, that was Shishio.
Why did you do that?
Yeah, like, that was a
Bad
terrible choice.
like a cameo, just like the cameo in X-Men Apocalypse.
No, I haven't seen it, so I don't know who the cameo is.
No spoilers.
Let's
I
not
want to
spoil
tell
it
you
for
so
that.
bad.
Spoilers, I'm gonna say
Tell her off mic.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You can tell me afterwards.
Don't tell any
So
of us.
yeah, at one point, like, the audience knows that, oh shit, you shouldn't have gotten a substitute for Kenshin. This Shishio guy is bad news. But at the
It's
same
gonna
time, like,
cause a lot
watching
of
this
problems
over, you're
later
like,
on.
oh man, Kenshin went through hell. Like, I can see why they were like, no, let's give this guy a break.
Yeah.
He needs some time off.
But my confusion about did we talk about the actual final fight yet?
No, we haven't.
Okay. But my confusion is at the end, past the final fight. It looks like he's now an officer, or a general of the army because he's fighting with everybody out in the open rather than being the
I just don't think he
Assassin.
gives a shit.
yeah.
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 I thought it's like he has no shit to give.
Yeah.
He just wants to end it really quickly, maybe, so that he
this
can
is
go
my
Yeah,
back.
I
job
think
of
like
going all
the
out.
later part of this revolution was more out in the open. Like they actually had some battles with armies facing off
Okay.
against each other, as opposed to just assassinations in the streets,
Okay.
which is how it started out.
Yeah.
So the final fight is that Tomoe gets taken hostage. Kenshin goes after her because Izuka said, "Oh, we found out who the traitor is. It's her." Except no, actually Izuka was the traitor.
Yes.
So
But they-
Kenshin's all distracted.
That's also because she's been writing in her Doogie Howser journal.
Yeah, which I'm like, why would you
Yeah.
write in a journal like right next to this guy who you are potentially spying on? And
He trusted her.
he
too
says
much.
that he
Yeah.
doesn't read
Yeah.
books, but it sounds like he does know how to read.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe he doesn't know how to read, and like he's reading the lit things. They're like, oh, he does know how to
I
read.
guess he knows how to read.
Well, like earlier in the OAV, I think it was Katsura said that he looked up background on her and couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
So that's why I guess he was trusting her for whatever she was writing.
I mean, to be fair,
and she was writing to her brother.
she
too.
was like she was just like a chick for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
It's not
Just like random chick.
Yeah.
Also, to be fair, it was Izuka that was giving the information.
Yeah,
that
yeah. So
she
he could have
can't
said, "No,
find
I
anything
just
about
didn't
her."
find any info on this chick. I don't know."
Little does he know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess if he was on the straight and narrow, he would have been like, "Yeah, maybe we should pick somebody else because you killed her husband or her fiance.
yeah,
Probably not a good idea to put you in the same room."
yeah.
Yeah.
Might let something
Yeah.
slip. So yeah, the final fight is Kenshin like walking uphill in the snow forever, and fighting some ninjas along the way, getting blown up a little bit
Ninjas.
along the way,
Blown
and at the very end, Tomoe sacrifices herself to save Kenshin, who ends up slicing through her and the final
Bad guy.
boss.
Yeah.
He-
Final boss.
Kenshin didn't really do much in terms of his last fight. Like
No,
he was,
he got the hell beaten out of
yeah,
him.
the hell beat out. He was like more than a half step too slow.
Yeah, he was just
swinging.
like super exhausted and bleeding, and
Yeah.
like
That's probably why she
questioning
stepped in.
why he's even
Yeah.
doing anything.
But I did appreciate that before this final fight started, final boss man, whose name I can't even remember.
I don't think he ever gave his name.
Okay, final boss dude with the iron gauntlets.
Yeah.
When he realized that Tomoe actually had feelings for Kenshin, was like, "Oh, women, they're so useless."
Yeah. Oh, you're too
I'll
weak.
Never understand them.
I'll never
Yeah.
understand why you do what you do. And then she ran in front of him, I think to stop him
yeah,
from
she
killing
stopped
Yeah, she was
the
trying
dagger.
Yeah.
to grab his dagger.
I don't know
Or
if she
which was
knew
her
that
dagger.
Kenshin was already swinging and was probably going to kill her too. But
I doubt it.
I did appreciate that he essentially got his ass handed to him by a lady.
Yeah. Yeah, because of her, he is
Yeah.
now dead.
It's like, now you understand, asshole.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I'm not wishy-washy. Like, this is the strength of my resolve that
Yeah.
I'm going to do this, even though
Yeah.
I'm probably going to die.
How about this for some feelings?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's like the heaviness
Yep.
just
yep.
weighs you down.
It's like, by the way, fuck you.
She gets in one last action.
Well, then don't forget that she then.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
kind of strange. It's like, so she's dying in Kenshin's arms, and then she manages to take this guy's dagger and carve another.
Well, it's her dagger.
Yeah.
He took it
Yeah.
from her, yeah.
Oh, she carves another scar into Kenshin's cheek to complete the X shape.
Do they
Star-crossed
explain that more in the
lovers.
manga? Right,
What?
like remember me by this scar type thing. I feel like
Maybe it was a little bit
I don't
more
remember.
justified in the manga. Like in this, it feels really awkward. Like,
Yeah, it's just
she
like-
shouldn't really have the strength to do that.
I'm dying. Scratch.
Well,
Now I'm happy.
I need to make my mark on the world. Besides,
It makes-
just like my mark
yeah.
on your heart forever.
it makes
Yeah.
more sense when you know the complete Kenshin
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
So but
It's
that's
hard
why they
because they have
probably
to
left
write it
as
so that
symbolism.
like the results, they know what the results have to be, so they have to write it towards those results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a little awkward how they accomplish that.
Yeah. Well, in manga, you have a lot more time and space. to do
Yeah.
that.
That's true.
But in something as short as this, you have to use your time wisely. And really, they spent a lot of time with trying to be really edgy and symbolic.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much symbolism.
Maybe
Oh
we
my
didn't spend a
god.
lot of time we got to animate him walking 20 steps in the snow. It has to be 20 steps.
Yeah. Well, this is like
Animated.
slow
To-
progression.
But you're saying forever. I was like, is it
go
for?
to Otsu.
Let's go to
Yeah.
Otsu.
Yeah. Something that it just
Okay.
doesn't sound that great.
Yeah,
in
you're walking. You're
English.
still
It's like-
going.
It's like, is it forever? Or is it forever?
Yeah. Pretty much, especially in like episode 2 where they're panning at Kenshin while he's asleep. Like, Tomoe opens the hotel room that they're in. He's asleep, leaves, and then I joked the DVD's frozen. And Ed halfway got up. Like, no, Ed, it's not. I was just joking. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
No.
Tomoe
It was
comes
just
back.
like it was on that still shot for so long.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
in a way.
Thanks, Studio Dean.
Yeah. I understand that they're going for some kind of artistic thing that's probably more reminiscent of
Yeah,
the
it's-
art style of the period.
I think
and staring at her
85% of it
drinking.
worked. 85%
Yeah,
of it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, at the same time, us as a modern American audience, I'm going to say it, we're like super into like, where's the action? Why aren't people
Yeah.
moving? Why isn't something happening? Why are we watching this guy walk through snow?
I think
and bleed?
we're used to high production values. So it's like if you're going to have a still moment where there's not any action happening, there should still be some animation happening.
There should be, aside from sound of water happening.
Yeah. Yeah, which is just like that's the cheap way out.
Yes. Yes. It was a little cheap. I mean, I understood it, but I expected a little more to happen after this long pause of just drawn out moment than just her walking back into the frame and being like,
Yeah.
here's a blanket. And it's like,
Whoopsies.
okay. That's what we waited 15 seconds for?
Yeah,
You to
that's
put a
true. It
blanket
sort
on
of
something?
falls flat in animation. I wonder like if this were live action, like I feel like there's a bunch of different things that you could do to try to have more
Yeah.
tension or more investment in the scene.
You would change the camera angle, switch focus to Kenshin type
Yeah.
thing, and then camera angle change back, and there's Tomoe probably.
Yeah,
something like that.
probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even sure that kind of scene would happen in cinema now.
That's true.
Just 15 seconds.
Yeah, it's just
of
a different
nothing
aesthetic.
is- No, that would
Yeah.
definitely not happen.
That
People would be
people would
like,
get
"Why
bored."
is the film frozen?"
Did something happen? Do I need to check?
Someone
something?
call the projectionist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And someone will
ArcLight.
take out their cell phone and then the whole thing is ruined.
Yep.
So, do we have any other thoughts on Kenshin before we go into what we actually feel about the production as a whole?
Oh, like nitpicky things?
Nitpicky things. I'd like to also spend a few minutes talking about the dub.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't watch the dub. I've never actually watched the dub.
Oh, of the anime?
Yeah.
Or the OVA.
Or this.
Or the OVA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Julie and I watched the dub together.
Yeah. In some ways, I feel like because this is set in such a Japanese setting, like there's it's all Japanese people. It's a very important time in Japanese history. Like it's hard for me to feel like seeing people speak English is going to
It's a little
be able to
jarring.
capture a lot of that meaningfulness.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll spend 5 minutes on the dub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The dub itself, I actually thought it was mostly solid. The hard part was Tomoe and Kenshin fell way flat to me.
Which sucks
sucked.
because they're like the two main characters.
The
Good
issue
Lord.
was
That's
like
rough.
when we were watching it, there's a lot of like nuanced speak. They don't really raise their voices. There's not really a lot of emotion, but that gets conveyed by the casting director or the ADR person as you need to speak barely above a whisper to everybody. Oh, and you have to speak slowly to match the mouth flaps when talking. So it's a lot of just monotone
Monotone
for-
whisper.
I did notice that.
for both Kenshin and Tomoe. So we're there. It's just them in the scene. It is kind of a snooze fest. I'm like,
Oh.
so while watching, I'm like, why would you want to live with this guy? He is so boring.
I did notice that a lot of the subs were very short in comparison to the flap because Kenshin has a very formal way of, well, I guess not so much in the OVA, but he does draw out his sentences quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, the other characters like are pretty short. Like they don't bother with the masens everywhere.
Yeah, like you see a lot of the other characters around them speak really casually with a lot of personality reflected
Yeah.
in the way that they talk.
And all the
Yeah.
side characters have a really great personality. And, like I said, the guy who does Kenshin's dub is also dubbing Okita Soji, and he plays him completely different.
Oh,
and
I bet.
There's
He's got
a
a
lot
totally
of
different personality.
energy and inflection. And it's like, oh, it's great. And then Kenshin is just talking like this the entire time. Put down your swords if you want to live.
Yeah.
It's just
Come
like,
with me if you want to live.
But why? Why would I want to go with you?
So okay, I guess I'll kill you.
I will
then.
kill you now. Wait, what? What did he just say?
What? He just put his sword through my
Because
neck.
it's hard to get through any of, like, why is Kenshin charming? Why do people like him if he's
Yeah.
so monotone?
Yeah.
It's tough to get through. And there's a couple of weird line changes that happened. Already made mention on. We were talking about it earlier, but for the podcast guys, while listening to it dubbed, apparently someone didn't really research on their Japanese pronunciation of words, at least to me, because I've never heard anyone say Tokugawa before until watching the dub. And I was like,
That's right.
it took me. I did an audible dub. Like, what did he just say? Hold on, rewind.
Tokugawa?
Tokugawa?
Wow.
Tokugawa.
Oh, that's Tokugawa.
Oh, no.
Oh.
You sound like a GPS navigation unit.
Turn
Yeah.
left on Tokugawa.
And you think, like, if they had the dub track or the original Japanese track to listen
And
to,
the
they could
scripts.
listen to how the Japanese people pronounce it and try to maybe use some of that to when saying it in English.
I'll also go with the sound editor for not catching that. Maybe they grabbed a different take instead on accident. And it's like,
Oops.
you need to
Well, they
repeat
kinda
that
did
line.
the
It's
same thing with
Tokugawa,
the-
not Tokugawa.
Yeah, we did the same thing with the Yu Hakusho because it wasn't Urameshi, it was Yorameshi. All the name pronunciations was very odd.
Well,
too.
when you're Christopher Sabat and trying to do that guttural voice for Kowabara, it's a little hard to
Yorameshi.
do. Urameshi, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of other weird line changes, or one weird line change to me also was in episode 3, where I guess they just had sex after
Yeah,
they had
It's
their,
too artistic to
yeah. They
yeah,
had
it was like the most artistic non-sex scene ever.
They had their passionate "we're in love" scene.
So we're cuddling under a sheet.
Yeah,
thing.
cleaner sheet scene. And Kenshin says, "I promise I'll protect you."
Yeah.
In the dub, after this is over, let's get married.
Oh
And she
yeah,
says yes.
You
yeah.
gotta feel that
And you don't get that in the.
I didn't get the whole like. Let's.
I don't think it's even on their faces in that scene. It's like a long shot. So you have this like random dub
Yeah.
line that doesn't match up to anything in the
So-
Japanese, and then
so
the
the-
next morning she gets up and leaves.
At least, yeah, that's why it seems so weird. Like, yeah, let's get married. Goodbye, Kenshin. Whereas I'll protect you, and then she leaves. Like, it's her leaving. Like, no, now it's
like-
my turn to protect you. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that makes so much more sense than in
No,
the
she's
show.
even
Like,
like,
Get
this
married.
Nah. Like, no, this guy's getting clean now.
Bye, y'all.
I got what I needed.
Hey, what? I almost feel like they had to have that scene so that everyone knows that Kenshin's not a virgin. Because I mean, yeah, maybe he did disappear for 10 years between this OVA and what happened in the TV show.
no,
but
he was just brothing it up with anybody that smelled like white plums. That's
oh my god,
Kidding.
like ruin everybody's impressions. Well,
Kidding.
it's more. I think more people are comfortable with it being ambiguous. There's like we know he's most likely not a virgin, but we don't need to know about how many times he had sex. Because he's our shonen hero. They don't talk about that in a shonen jump.
yeah. Unless you're Izuka, then you're like, so you were in the room together for one whole night, man. What's up?
Hey, how was she? And then he's like, I am going to put my sword right next to you so that you freak out and then walk out of the room.
Goodbye.
At least he's classy. At least he's not like, no, nothing happened. Or he's just like, bye.
Okay, bye.
Please.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess it's a good time to wrap up how we are going with this. Ed,
Final.
final thoughts about Kenshin.
It's well, so I agree that it's a well put together package. You don't have to have watched the TV show to get something out of it, but if you do, then you kind of appreciate.
Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's all
yeah.
that-
Yeah, there's
those
a bit of
things in
foreshadowing
there.
for
Yeah.
characters in
Like
the TV
Saito
show.
and his and his stance.
Yeah.
Eve is
Eve is like melting down.
Just shaking.
shaking with.
like in Boku no Hero Academia.
Oh, I thought you were shaking kind of like Charlie Murphy.
Oh no. Or like vibrating.
Yeah. Eve is generating with excitement of
They totally could have brought
Getsuga.
when they mentioned
No, that's
Yeah,
sorry.
Gatotsu.
yeah,
Gatotsu.
when they mentioned Oniwabanshu, they could have totally had a little Aoshi cameo. If they tried, they really could.
For a second, I
Didn't
thought.
try.
For a second, I
Bastards.
thought TB Dude was.
You thought that was Aoshi?
I thought it was Oshi for a second, then they zoomed like, oh no, it's not.
No, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Pretty
Okay,
quick.
so getting back to Ed's final
That's my
thoughts.
Joey
Yeah.
husband.
So we always talk about is this something you would recommend to other people? And yeah, this is definitely worth watching.
Here's a thing: would you recommend people to watch the TV series first, or are they okay with jumping right on into this?
That's an interesting question.
Now you all get to think of that too.
Oh, I gotta think of that.
I think it's worth watching the TV series first.
Okay.
That way you get the context and the background, and you do see all those Easter eggs, but
Not the whole TV series.
not the
No.
whole TV series.
Just the good parts.
just the first 60-something episodes.
I mean, if you want to lay it out like
Or just the
manga,
live
you would
action
watch up
movies.
through Kyoto arc, and then you'd
Yeah.
watch this, and it'd make everything make sense. And that's how I would recommend it. But you could certainly go the other way and get something out of it that way too.
Okay. Eve, we'll go with you next. What do you feel?
I'll bounce off of that. If you're gonna watch the movie first, or the OAV first, and then the series, but you still need to go back to the OAV just to catch the little nuances and be like, oh shit, and whatnot.
Nice. Caitlin.
All right. I personally have always been a fan of the original series, the television series. And I feel like I went backwards. I went television series, then OVA. And I feel like I understood more of the OVA based on having watched the television series first.
Okay.
But at the same time, it can be a lot or a really big tonal whiplash moment.
Oh yeah.
So if you're watching the TV series and then expect to go to the OVA and see more of the same, the only real inkling of Kenshin's character in the TV series that you will get is when his master is like, he's kind of a moron, but I like him anyway.
Yeah.
And you'll laugh at that line. But, after that, you'll be like,
original
why isn't
Bakadeshi.
everybody friends? And why is Kenshin killing all of these people and cutting a dude in half? And wow.
Yeah,
So-
where's my Kenshin?
Yeah. So if you want a palate cleanser after watching or after one of them, watch the OVA and then watch the television series. Otherwise, I'm with Eve, like flip flop.
Kate, we're going to save you for last because this is your pick.
Oh,
So,
this was my pick.
I thought
no,
this
that was
my
Eve's
pick.
pick.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
I messed up the order. Kate, you go next.
Okay. Well, I made Buck the Trend here because what I actually did was I watched this first, and then a few years later I watched the TV series, and I knew after I had knew nothing about Kenshin or almost anything about anime before watching this, and I really liked it. And then I researched more about anime, and I think I read a synopsis for Kenshin, and I was like, oh yeah, that was a cool OVA. And then I watched the TV series, and I was like, this is so different. Oops. Where's the Kenshin that I know and love from the OVA?
Why is he cutting a dude in half?
Yeah, I know. It's like, I want those parts.
Why is he hitting people with the wrong side of the sword?
Yeah,
I don't get
so
it.
Where's my
Like
Oros?
the Oro always really bothered me because it's really fake. And then the parts in the TV series where he sort of reverts back to the Batose type mentality, I was like, oh yeah, oh my god, this is it, this is exciting. So I think I would definitely recommend people to watch this. I feel like it's well animated. Artistically, it's really interesting. It's really heavily stylized in some parts, but it also has a lot of subtlety that I am surprised by now, because I see a lot of heavy-handed techniques and writing in anime, and this has a lot of sort of subtle storytelling and subtle acting choices that I appreciate. So if you watch this and then watch the anime, I feel like that's still fine, but you have to be aware that the tone of the anime, the TV anime, is so much lighter than this is. Because this is like the dark past, and then the TV series is the
reparation part.
Pleasant present.
Pleasant present.
Yeah, so it's like all of the dark times are over, and he's sort of got all of these badass skills from the past, but he uses them for the sake of good. And then this is the story that's telling that dark past. So it by necessity, it has to be sort of dark and depressing and sort of a tragedy, because the present Kenshin of the TV series is like, well, all of this dark stuff happened in my past, and that's why I'm so skilled, but I've reformed. So that's what the character progression is. But if you watch, I think it's fine to watch this first and then watch the TV series, as long as you understand that they're not going to be the same in tone at all.
Okay, I kind of agree with. Well, I guess throw my hat, and I agree with everyone else is saying. Like, you can watch this first, you can watch the TV series first. Whichever order you go into, just know that the next one you're going to watch will be completely different.
Yeah.
I watched the TV series first before watching Samurai X, though I did watch the entire TV series. It was like, oh, that last third of the TV series, what was this? this was kind of a nice palate cleanser too. Like, I get characters that I like back. Yeah, Kenshin was completely different in this than the TV series. So, like I said, you don't really get the Oros, you don't really get the silly comedic faces. There's no Sanosuke, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, no Sano at all.
You get Nishi is kind of like Yahiko a little bit in terms of size. In terms of size.
In terms of size only.
In terms of size,
not
and
personality.
hairstyle.
Yeah,
Not-
hairstyle.
Yeah.
Hairstyle. Just not the glare eyes. Yahiko has clear,
Not the-
pure eyes.
Nothing like in
Twisted
Nishi
personality.
has, yeah.
Like, how
and
did your
Nishi
mouth
has-
get into your nose?
Nishi has the murder face eyes.
Yeah.
The how dare you look at my sister eyes.
Yeah. What are your
Yeah, I
intentions
think, like,
toward
if-
my sister?
If you like comedy, watch the TV series first, because you'll enjoy it. And then when you like the characters, then you can watch this.
Funny enough, too, there's no like fantastical swordplay in the OVA. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
all...
true. Like all of the crazy, Hitsun Mitsurugi Ryu that they use in the TV show, like
It's really glossed over.
Yeah. He doesn't call out any techniques. You don't see anything that's like an obvious fancy technique. It's just
No.
like him slicing people in half with great
Yeah.
efficiency.
He's just so
Yep.
much better than all the other
Yeah.
dudes in this one. Man, it takes
I don't
like,
need
two
to use any
He
technique.
doesn't need to call out his techniques because they're about to be dead.
Yeah, yeah. Well, all of the Hiko's a badass. Like he's a badass in the TV series, and I like that Hiko really hasn't changed.
Yeah.
The TV series Hiko and the OVA Hiko are exactly the same.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't need to know my name because you're about to die.
I think the only thing that you don't get is because it's still pre when Kenshin became the legend that he is in the TV series. Like, you don't get anyone calling him like Batosai the man.
Oh yeah,
But
Yeah.
Tosai.
yeah. They
Batosai.
recognize that he's an assassin, but he
Yeah.
doesn't have a reputation necessarily
I wonder
yet.
if they would have changed that. Would have just been like Batosai assassin instead of
Yeah.
manslayer.
I
It's always
think
found
Man.
that.
Slayer
literally translate
Batosai.
Hitokiri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
It just seems like the weirdest translation ever. Manslayer. That sounds like a death metal band.
I know.
Manslayer.
Well, certain things where it's like, oh, maybe it sounds important in Japanese, but not badass in
Yeah.
the same way
So-
that manslayer does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So I
mean,
guess-
it's in Japanese, it's hitokiri but tosai. So
Yeah.
man cutter.
Yeah.
Which is awkward in English.
Man cutter of the bato.
Yeah, well, and
Basically.
the Batosai is like the genius of drawing the sword,
Yeah.
like basically
Yeah.
to kill
It's a-
people.
it's technique.
But he doesn't really do any Bato jutsus in this.
Yeah,
No.
just not until
Just
the very
once, and he misses.
Yeah, the very final fight, he did it and he whiffed. He whiffed so bad.
So he basically wasn't the Batosai yet.
No.
He was a Bato newbie.
Bato noob.
What about that Hiten Mitsurugi drunken master style?
Yeah,
was a
there is
super
one
master
scene
at
where
that.
he's like, you see, there's 3 bottles of sake on the table and 1 cup, and just Kenshin at the table.
It
And
makes
he's upright.
Yeah,
it makes the sad things go away.
It makes the fact that he cut a dude in half go away.
So the real question is, between that lapse between the OAV and the series, Did he or did he not become an alcoholic?
Yeah.
I think he didn't. He might have gotten weaned off of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
he's
no
kind of
more
an
sword
alcoholic.
killing.
Did he go to
Yeah.
rehab?
series where he drinks and he's like, whoa.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's supposed to be weak to it. Like he's just like, oh.
Well, when you're
Like he's a
wandering
lightweight.
the land, you can't afford
Yeah, maybe. I guess he can't afford it. And also, he's really short, so
Yeah, he's super small.
All right, so basically
Yeah.
what I'm saying is
if he
that
hadn't built up a tolerance, he'd be a pretty cheap date.
some studio out there needs to get the rights to Kenshin, just reanimate both the OVA and make like a Kenshin Kai or something
Oh.
like that.
Kenshin Kai.
Where you don't have old man doctor and his 2 adorable grandchildren and you kind of can compress things and we get real Inishi arc.
Yeah, well, I'd be fine with just an OAV of Inishi. It doesn't have to use this character design style. It doesn't have to use the TV design style. It could be its own thing.
They have to call
Just
like
tell
new
that story
Inishi arc,
animated.
maybe.
Yeah.
Because we have reflections.
I don't want to talk about that. Like, let's just forget that ever existed.
What are you talking about, Dennis?
All right, I think that'll about wrap it up for our discussion. So, Caitlin, thank you for joining us as a special guest.
Thank you for having
Do
me.
you
This
have
was fun.
any social media plugs? We normally plug our Twitter.
Yeah, if you want to promote a website or your Twitter or
Sure.
something.
I
Go
mean, you know, I'm one half of We're Not Twins Cosplay. You can find us on Facebook. Though apparently there are 2 We're Not Twins cosplays.
Oh, that's
What?
weird.
Find the one with the cover photo of Elsa and Anna. That is me and my sister.
Oh,
And
man.
You can see our crazy costuming adventures there.
It's just like there's 2 SK cosplays, but we have all SK cosplay, whereas they have S period K period cosplay.
Weird.
Yeah.
Facebook is a weird place.
Facebook's a weird.
Yeah, it's awkward.
Eve, now that you're here in person, where can people find you?
Mostly on ACP. as Eve, I think. Yeah, Eve. EVE.
Oh, okay,
Eve, I
that's
thought you were
easy.
Eve _
Wow.
L also.
That's on Twitter,
Oh,
but it's locked for a bit.
okay.
But I think, and then on Facebook is EVEIL, but without the underscore.
Okay.
Okay.
For your cosplay page.
Yeah, and I should be
You.
doing some psychopath stuff at AX.
Yeah.
Woo!
Ed, where can people find you?
I still have the very long Twitter handle.
When are you gonna get that
Tweetnashi.
Hold on,
that
hold on.
changed.
Say it one more time, and then we're gonna have a 1 second break so I can insert Rao saying that line. Go for it. Where can you be found on Twitter?
Twitter at Ipen no Kuinashi.
I found that on YouTube. I'm adding that in. Yeah. I'm probably gonna post that on my Facebook page too. Kate, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Taiko-chan.
Yeah.
Daw.
I am also on Twitter at Ichnob, ICHNOB, and then our other 2 hosts who are super busy, unfortunately, right now. Sam is at S5ESSFIVE, and Diana's at Binksy, BINKXY. Diana is Crunch Time for WCS. We're also going to be at Anime Expo. There is
Yay.
a vintage anime cosplay gathering
And
on
we're
day
planning
3.
to go.
Oh my God, really?
Sunday
Just
at
observe.
11.
Yeah, so if you like this podcast, if you like vintage anime, I think this gathering would probably be a great chance to see a lot of cosplay from vintage anime and meet other like-minded people who are into it.
They're actually doing series that are older than most of the things that we're going to be covering. They're doing
like what?
everything. Well, we have a couple that might have been like late 90s, early 2000s. They're doing anything that is pre-2000. So
Cool.
it's like,
Nice.
ooh, all right.
Like what?
Gonna
Well-
wing.
That's like what? 95?
I think I'm seeing a lot of like
80s?
Rumiko Takahashi stuff.
Oh, okay.
So there's those.
You guys
Yeah.
got
I've
stuff
always
for that.
wanted to cosplay as
Yeah.
Speed Racer. So
Hey, there you go.
Maybe go to that. It's on.
Well, I'm
Sunday.
wondering, like, how far back does this go? Does it? I'm just
Anything
expecting like
before
Probably
2000.
to the beginning of time.
Tetsujin 28,
someone
which is
just-
so old it's actually animated in black and white.
Probably.
You can get a furry suit in your Kimba.
No.
Said, Kimba the White
Oh
Lion.
my god.
So yeah, if anyone's showing up,
super excited about that.
yeah, anyone
Yeah.
listening to this could probably get a chance to be interviewed as well.
Yeah.
Also, it's a fairly open place too. It's in the plaza that's in front of the convention
Yeah.
center over on the west.
Oh, so
Probably the West Hall?
West Hall,
Closest to the
front?
GW.
It starts with an L. It's something plaza because of the L. I forget what it is. It's
Uh,
11 a.m.
Is it the one between West Hall and Staples Center?
Yeah, it's that front
Oh,
plaza with
LA
the trees
Live?
and stuff. Not LA Live. The front plaza in front of the convention center where like the buses and stuff.
Yes, that's
are.
West Hall.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
The round one.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
right there. And in terms of website stuff, you can find us at. You can find this and older episodes of the podcast on our Libsyn blog, also on iTunes, Google Play Podcast, Stitcher. Almost said Twitcher. Like that's
To Twitcher?
Stitcher. I was like, wait. And Blueberry as well. And for our social media, we have a Twitter account at Vintage Anime Pod and our Facebook account at Vintage Anime Club. So go ahead and like us there. Share things too. Go rate and review as well. Don't even bother reviewing the episode. Just go ahead and tell us what your favorite anime memory is from like your first favorite anime. Any memories you have, or if you have any special memories of Kenshin and or Samurai X.
Yeah, honestly, I would be curious to see what other people would recommend versus watching this OVA first or watching the TV series first.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think.
And people's favorite Kenshin moment, because I know a lot of people have different.
Oh, different moments
Yeah.
or different
Yeah.
favorite characters?
Or at least like, because the anime arc was kind of long, so there's a lot of different scenes people really like.
Yeah.
It's very fun. All right, so our sign off is going to be weird, but thank you everyone for joining us. We didn't have clinkings now because we have wooden boxes.
I'm a little sad that these wooden boxes don't make a good sound effect,
No.
but
Oh.
let's just
All right, yeah, it's weird send off. So boxes up.
yeah,
Kampai.
Like.
This episode is brought to you by Gekkei-kan Kobai Plum. It is light and refreshing with a delicate plum flavor, with also caramel color added. But don't let that deter you because it's very delicious.
It is very delicious. And what else did we have today, Caitlin?
It's also brought to you by Gekkei-kan Sake. Braden. Bleh. All right, I'm going to take that again. Brewed in the USA according to the process originated by Gekkei-kan Sake in Japan in 1637. Sake is a delightful, versatile beverage you can enjoy many different ways. Gekkei-kan has a subtle flavor, which adds character to any drink.
And we almost demolished these huge ass bottles.
Oh, yeah.
It's really
Oh my God,
big.
it's so much.
If I want to expand and say that
It's 1.5 liters.
oh yeah, it's a very big bottle. But if you want the full experience, you get a wine glass of the plum wine, not all the way, like halfway like you would regular wine, and then pour a shot of sake into it. And it's
And
really
that's
good.
that's what we've been doing today. So
It's really
well,
good.
we've sort of been like eyeballing it in the wooden boxes.
Yeah,
I
I guess
guess-
kind of like, it's
Yeah,
probably
for a
right.
wooden box, then probably like a 1/3 sake to plum wine, or maybe 3/4.
yeah. It's good. It's delicious.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next time with Bubblegum Crisis. See ya.
Bye.